We are live.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the Town of East Hampton Architectural Review Board meeting of today's date, which is February 25th, 2021. I'd like to open the meeting with an approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was February 11th, 2021. All in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Under agricultural overlay, I'm going to do a quick switch if Jessica Guetta, how do you say her last name?
Guetta?
Guetta is on the line for 8 Sayers Path. I'm moving this one first in front of 104 Main Street due to a scheduling request that she had. Michael, is Jessica on the line?
Chairwoman, I do not see that name in the waiting room for Zoom. There are 2 callers on the phone, though, on hold, if you'd like me to go to that to see if any of them pertain
see
to
if
her.
anybody's there for 8 Sayers Path, please.
Okay, stand by. I'm going to unmute the first caller.
Thank you.
The last 4 digits are 5555. One moment. Actually, I do see Jessica coming into Zoom now.
Okay,
Good.
I'll go right to that first.
thank you.
Jessica, you're there on Zoom?
Hi, how are you?
Yes, how are you?
You're all set, Chairwoman.
Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Jessica. We heard that you needed to be, you requested to be placed first, so we're acknowledging that request.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Should we start speaking?
Now, what we're going to do is have Esperanza read into the record.
Did you read in the tax map information already? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little off because of this. All right. This is for 8 Sayers Path LLC, tax map number 300-196-1-8.1. Esperanza, if you could read into the record what the application is for.
This is an application that's coming before us again. It's a proposal for a 2-story new construction dwelling, according to the application. That residence would be, initially is proposed at 7,662 square feet. My understanding from having reviewed the documents that were submitted again more recently, that it is now proposed at, one moment, hold on. Sorry. Well, I don't know, actually. If you can go ahead and tell me what the proposal is, what changes you have made to the application, because it was, they were very minor as far as I could see.
So we took the board's comments under serious consideration, and we modified the design by taking out all the windows from the upper part of the gables. And we reduced the size of all the windows around the entire property. I would say we reduced the amount of glass by approximately, that's the old rendering where there was all glass.
So when you say the gables, you're talking about that louvered section?
Yes, we removed all the glass from the louvered section. We sent over to Derek the new rendering that had all the removed. Hold on, I'm going to send it to him again if he doesn't have it.
It did. I just
No,
saw
I'm
it.
sorry, I
just saw the new
apologize.
rendering.
I didn't see the new renderings. I only had some elevations.
I saw it on the screen a second ago.
So I'm gonna send it to Derek again though right now, just in case he didn't have it.
I did see it on the screen, just FYI.
Oh, you did?
So I think you guys have it.
Just now. Yeah.
Derek, did you receive new color renderings? Because in David's file as well as Esperanza, we only saw a elevation, a new elevation.
We have color renderings that were emailed. 1 second, let me pull them up.
It was a picture. It was a picture before.
They were emailed to you. And when were they?
No. Right now on the screen, on the Zoom.
Excuse me for a minute.
Right now on
Derek,
the Zoom screen, like when.
Derek, when were they emailed to you?
They were emailed to him last, few weeks ago, but I just forwarded them to him again.
They were supposed to be submitted in document form.
They were submitted, a month ago.
Yep, here it is.
These
No,
are names, right?
No. Derek, I just sent you, I forwarded you the email with 3 different ones. I sent you the email again. You should have received this last email that has 1, 2, it has a bunch of different, there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
The email that you just sent me is what I had on the screen before.
Did you receive the email that says, Ryan Kestner, let me know if you got this? I sent it to you like a few weeks ago, but I sent it just again.
Did you or did you not submit hard copies
Yes, I submitted hard copies.
of color renderings, these color renderings?
No, this is, I just sent, Derek, did you get this rendering? I just sent you 2.
Jessica, what we're asking is if you submitted hard copies of these renderings.
The rendering that I have on the screen is the rendering that you just emailed me.
No, I sent you the wrong email. I sent you the second email. Did you receive a second email from me? I sent you the correct ones that had 4 pictures in it.
What we need to know is whether we had these renderings as hard copies, because I was not able to review this because it wasn't in my file. So I'm seeing this now for the first time.
We
Derek?
did.
Did you get the email from me that I just sent you over? Would you like me to forward? I could share my screen.
If you could forward again, that would be helpful. The rendering that I have on the screen right now is what you sent.
Right, can we go through
Can I
them?
share?
please?
Why can't we go through the ones that Derek has?
Okay.
Because this one, I took completely the windows out of the gables.
Those 3 squares that you have
Open
on
up
the
your
top,
email so we could share our screen.
those 3 squares that you have on top.
Okay, well, we
could
can
take also.
imagine that.
We can do
Okay,
that.
Let's go through this quickly.
And we narrow all the windows. We narrow by like 30%. So it's much narrower right now. So we really took you guys seriously, and we reduced the window by a lot.
Yeah, we took your comments under serious
What was
consideration.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jessica, we're getting mixed messages from you, okay? You're saying that you submitted hard copies. Derek said he only received them by email. So we didn't have an opportunity to review this and be prepared for this review. We're going to go through what is up on the screen now. I can't compare them to my old plans, nor could Esperanza, to see what you've changed. When I compared the new elevations to the old elevations, the only thing that I saw was that you added some windows in the back.
No.
So let's take a look at the rear elevation.
So the elevation that's up right now is not the correct elevation. Derek, if he could open his email, would receive the email that says 8 stairs path renderings and electronic files. We've removed all windows out of the gables completely.
And we narrowed them by like 30%.
Yeah, we get that, but this is not, you don't submit documents in the middle of our meeting. They should be ahead of time. You did this last time and it wasted an enormous amount of time for the board. So either prepare for the meeting or don't prepare, but don't start sending us stuff in the middle of the meeting.
Yeah, I'm not going to allow this to happen. So in the meantime, we've received a letter from one of your one of your neighbors, a gentleman named David Egan from East Hampton, and I would like Esperanza to take a few minutes and read through this letter.
Certainly.
For the record.
I'm going to read this letter from David E. Egan for the record. It was received in reference to 8 Sayers Path, Wainscott. Dear Chairwoman Petrosky and members of the board, I am writing in connection with the above identified application on the agenda for your February 25th, 2021 meeting. My wife, Marianne McCaffrey, and I reside full-time at 46 Sayers Path, Wainscott. We also own the 3.1 acre agricultural reserve located at 19 Wainscott Hollow Road, Wainscott, and the 14.2 acre agricultural reserve located at 15 Town Line, Wainscott. That parcel contains a large portion of Kilmore Farm, our horse farm, which comprises the above described 18.2 acres and has operated since January 2000. The proposed residence directly abuts Kilmore, partially our paddocks located adjacent to our eastern property line. We have lived in our current home since 2002. We have owned a home in Wainscott continuously since 1987, and my wife was born and raised in southern Wainscott as part of a family that has resided there for 4 generations. Both our home and our farm buildings were subject to this board's review and approval since they are located in or adjacent to an agricultural overlay district. We believe we have a good sense of what makes Wainscott so unique. We are writing to voice our strong opposition to the size, design, and exterior materials proposed for the proposed residence. We note that the lot at 8 Sayers Path has already been clear-cut, resulting in a noticeable increase in noise and light from the highway on our property and other neighboring properties. The proposed residence will certainly not lessen these adverse impacts. Frankly, the proposed residence's size, style, and exterior materials, particularly the massive overuse of glass, are completely inconsistent with the character of our neighborhood. There are no 12,000 square foot homes in the neighborhood, even if you define that term broadly. All the homes bordering the Kilmore and the remaining preserved corridor of farmland running south from the highway, 27 East to Main Street, are traditional shingle style, more modest in size, less than half of the proposed residence, and mass, and do not have multiple walls of glass. The proposed residence is totally out of scale and reflects a design more indicative of South Beach, Florida, than the corridor of preserved farmland which it borders. Styling the proposed residence as a, quote, modern barn on a Wainscott farm reserve does not make it, close quote, does not make it so. And it includes a link to the listing for this proposed residence on your website, on guettabuilding.com. The amount of light that will emanate from the proposed residence will be excessive and disruptive to our neighborhood, our farm, and our horses. It would also make a mockery of this board's past efforts to make properties bordering agricultural easements dark sky compliant. We also have safety concerns with the proposed development. Horses are flight animals by their nature. They will be disturbed by the noise and activity at the proposed pool and tennis court. This presents a real danger of injury to the horses, causing them to run in their paddocks, and to the riders who train at Kilmore, including my wife and other family members. This is a genuine safety risk that could be greatly mitigated by relocating the pool and the tennis court on the Sayers Path side of the proposed residence. At the very least, the board should require extensive screening between these structures and our farm. Kilmore is separate property that contains an existing separate and legal use. It is not an extension of the proposed residence's yard. Recently, the town's zoning board of appeals required the owner of 15 Wainscott Hollow Road, which borders the southwestern portion of our farm, to covenant that the existing 12-foot hedge on that property be maintained at that minimum height as a condition to ZBA's granting an area variance for a tennis court located between the residence and our property line for those same safety reasons. We would greatly appreciate it if you would consider our concerns when reviewing the proposed residence. We trust that you will encourage the applicant to design and build a more suitable home that not only maximizes their profit, but also reflects the well-settled character of our neighborhood and takes the neighborhood's existing land uses into account. The proposed residence simply does not reflect any such effort on the developer's behalf. The town spent decades assembling the corridor of preserved farmland, which the proposed residence abuts. The proposed residence does not honor those efforts. We thank you for for service on the ARB and for your consideration of this important matter. Sincerely, David E. Egan.
This is David Egan, the attorney, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I know him well. With regards to horses, my family's in the horse trade. The tennis courts and the pool will not disturb the horses in any way. I don't believe that one bit. The house, I'm just looking, I was reviewing the, oh, by the way, I'm Ryan Kessler, I'm the architect. And also thank you very much for moving us up on the agenda for my son. I really, really appreciate it. So first and foremost, thank you, members of the board. So, I mean, I was looking at the last rendering and I was listening to your comments and your biggest comments were with regards to the glazing. The existing glazing was like 18 or 20 feet long and we've reduced it down to 14 feet at this point. So we have complied with you guys. The size of the house is as of right. There's nothing that's
I'm just going to interrupt you there for one moment. I'm just going to interrupt you just one moment. You just to point out that it is an ag overlay district. So this board actually does have purview. So just to be sure, because
no, I understand. I understand.
It's an additional layer of review that we're going through right now. Okay.
Right. No, and I completely understand and completely respect that, without a doubt. The proposed square footage, we reduced it slightly down to 7573. So we did reduce the size of the house. But the big comments that you guys had was regards to the glazing, which we happily complied with. We have, if you look at the hard copies in front of you, those windows are, you know, we're not more than, I think, 14 feet across on any one. So we've actually eliminated 4 feet on each one of those sides. And then we had the louvers with the windows behind them, and we've eliminated those as well. So we are trying to get to the middle ground for you guys and try to figure out exactly where we need to go. And I mean, what is the board's feeling about the new hard copies that they, not the rendering, the black and white crimps? What are the comments from the board?
Well, when I reviewed the new submit of the elevations and I compared them to the old ones, I didn't really see all that much difference. Now, I think if I had the color renderings to compare to, I think that would have been more helpful. Obviously, those weren't submitted. They were emailed and they weren't submitted as hard copies, which is what we require. We're not in a position to review this. My take on the style of the house was that it was being classified as a modern barn. I didn't feel that it looked like a modern barn. I thought it was just a very large group of sectionals with a lot of floor to ceiling glass and glazing. So I was not impressed with it. I didn't think that it fit at all within the neighborhood and the type of residents that are in that area, particularly that it is an agricultural overlay. And that was my concern. We went on and on through that meeting. Jessica told us numerous times that this was going to be their home. We knew that it was not, that it was for sale on the website. And we just feel that, you know, this is not going very well. So this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to also open this up to the board to give
Can we share our comments for a moment?
Their comments, and then I'd like to give you some direction.
Okay, love to hear it.
We have not updated our website yet to share that we're not selling this home. The renderings on the website are completely the old renderings. I don't update our website every day. You know, it's very costly to update a website. And those were the old renderings. We have fallen in love with this piece of property. We have fallen in love with our design. We took your comments under serious consideration and reduced the amount of glass. If you put the renderings side by side, I don't know if Derek is able to, there is a tremendous amount of glass removed. All those upper portions of the home were all glass and are now all reduced. I mean, I own horses as well. And there is absolutely nothing about this house that is of any danger. My horse's name is Murphy. I ride on a regular basis.
You know what, Jessica? This has nothing to do with the house. Okay?
Yeah. Jessica, you have a sign in front of the property with your name and a picture of the house stating it's for sale. So what are you talking about?
I want publicity for my company.
Well, then that's a bad way to do it because you're creating a very bad impression with this board.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we'll have it removed.
We're very sorry, and we're gonna have it removed. Also, I want to point that the house is actually shingle. It is shingle For some reason, in the rendering is a little bit deceiving. The house is shingle.
Well, this is what I'd like to do. I
Yeah,
would like
move
for you
on.
to submit to the board brand new elevations of what you're proposing. I would like them to be of smaller size so that the board can review them easily. I would like color renderings submitted that match exactly the elevations for every elevation. And I would like them submitted as well as in, like a 14 by 17 size or something along that line, whatever it is.
11 by 17 be okay,
By
ma'am?
17 or 24 by 30, whatever. But these large architectural plans, they're hard for us to work with. So since we don't have anything to compare to that we were prepared for this meeting, I'm going to table it. I'm going to ask you to again take into consideration the letter from your neighbor and see if you can soften up the hard edges of this proposed residence.
Can I mention one more thing? Okay, I really do see, because I'm looking at the rendering, and I can see why you wouldn't say that is a shingle. The house is.
I could see that it's shingle.
Okay. The second thing is, I was looking. I'm trying not to scared and really to say what I feel. I was looking through houses in Winscott. There is many houses that are modern houses, ultra modern houses with many glass. We're really trying to come to the board and really listen to you and really taking serious consideration.
Well, we're taking into serious consideration the neighborhood that the property is located in.
No problem.
Wainscott is a very large area. It's a big hamlet in the town of East Hampton. And I'm not saying that there aren't modern houses. I'm saying if you look around the area that you purchased your property in, it's an agricultural land area. It's very wooded, and it looks like you've cleared the lot entirely. The first set of renderings had landscaping on them. I don't see the ones that, these. It's just, it's confusing for the board. It's not making it easy for us to understand what you're trying to achieve here. Okay? So I think you need to submit correct renderings, colors, and elevations, as well as materials to the board.
You got it.
Would you like us to send you cut sheets of the materials so you can see what it's going to be?
Yes.
Okay,
At
sure.
the same time.
Yes.
Sure.
As much information, lighting, everything. The other thing is that the overhang that you have on the front exterior, has everybody on the board seen that?
Yes.
That's to just cover from the rain when people come in. It's just like a little overhang. So that when you come into the home that you don't, if it's pouring, you could stand.
You know what an overhang is, yes. What's your question, Betsy?
Well, my point is it looks like a hotel.
Right. Well,
There's nothing, I think, in fitting and keeping with the area and the existing homes that surround it, and that are more in a traditional style of a home.
Okay, we can work on it.
All right, so I'm going to table this.
can I say something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Jonathan?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw the project the last time and this time just now. And I had the very strong feeling that it had a very commercial quality to it. I could easily see it as a part of a large mall like that with different store names on each of the little buildings, and the way the materials were set up, and the sort of the geometry of the buildings just glued together like that. And it's part of the agricultural overlay in Wainscott, which is theoretically in the country, not in a mall area. There should be, you can do a modern house with glass and with shingles and with, as long as if you detail it with that the scale of the building deals with the rest of a lot of the other buildings that are around it. Not necessarily a tiny house, but you can scale it so that it works. It's a matter of dealing with it at that level, fitting in at that level.
We're actually under the allowable square footage. I mean,
That's not the point. Again, I'm going to point out to you,
I can't
we
hear
are
you.
an additional layer of review. So that's very true what you're saying. We're trying to guide you in a process where we're reviewing your application from the perspective of Architectural Review Board within an agricultural overlay district.
I mean, we bought a house. We have a few children. They have tons of friends over. This is the space.
Jessica, you're wasting.
This is all
time on
irrelevant.
Stories, right?
Okay.
It has nothing to do with it.
We're not here to try to aggravate anybody. We just.
Well, all I would like to say is that, excuse me. All I would like to say is that when you get your approval for this house, it is based on the Architectural Review Board having conducted a review of the architectural design and scale of the proposed construction pursuant to Article 7 of Chapter 255 that finds the materials, mass, line, color, detail, and placement of proposed construction will maintain harmony with the existing structures, setting, and physical environments, thereby preserving the visual resources of the town's essential character. Now, therefore, be it. That's the resolution. What you're hearing from the board is what you're presenting to us does not fit in with what we are charged with in viewing this new residence. So I'm going to table this. If you have any questions, you can call the office.
No problem. And I think the material, once we're going to submit materials and a better rendering, I think it's going to give you a better picture that this actually does look like a modern barn.
Well, I'm going to say that if you're going to just resubmit what you've already submitted by email that we haven't had a chance to review, I think you need to take more consideration on what we're saying to you.
So I'm absolutely going to. I listened to all of you loud and clear, and our comments to you was not to aggravate anybody, actually to listen to you. And we all have the same goal, me and you, to get this house approved and to get it off the agenda.
Okay. So I'm going to move on. 104 Main Street LLC, tax map number 300-200-2-24.8. And that is 104 Main Street LLC.
Chair, just a moment. The applicant is signing into Zoom at the moment.
Okay.
Just give them one moment. Mr. Scott, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Hi, guys. Thanks for waiting. We had a request for the one after you to go ahead. They had a doctor's appointment.
No problem. No problem at all.
Okay.
For the record, I'm here with Raymond Renault, architect, with Dan Thorpe, landscape architect, and then participating telephonically is Brian DeSessa from Adam Miller's office.
Chair, I see that number. If you'd like, I can open that line up right now. Mr. DeSessa, I will unmute, Chairwoman.
Okay.
I'm unmuting that number now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Hi. So, Esperance, if you'll read into the record what the application is for.
Well, I don't seem to have the application, but it is the application from my recollection and from my notes is one for a single family 2-story residence. It is located at 104 Wainscott Main Street, which is within the agricultural overlay district of Wainscott. And the proposed 2-story dwelling is proposed at 17,346 square feet, if I'm not mistaken from my notes. And I think that should do it for background.
Right. And we have new submits that they submitted for this meeting, and I believe they're dated January 7th, 2021. Is that correct?
No, they were
not. February? Is it?
February.
February.
Oh, I'm sorry. February 6th. Yeah, February 16th. I'm sorry. versus the other one. I read Cawthorne, right?
There's an example. Perfect.
Right, got it. So it looks like that you've had more reduction on the glazing.
That is correct. We went back to our clients and reviewed, additionally reviewed more of the board's concern with the amount of glazing. And we're now at a total reduction of 630 square feet and a total reduction of 19 panels. And we did make one of them smaller, which is that center window in the back. That was one of the comments that you had, Betsy.
Is that smaller in the front as well?
No, we didn't change the one in the front. We felt that the scale of the one in the front with the large gable was actually more proportionate. And we actually thought that reducing the one in the back was a good idea because it actually is a smaller gable. So proportionally, it works better.
I see. So I'm sorry. So you just reduced the one in the back, in the rear, on the southern facade?
Just in the center, yes. But there's a reduction of many panels. We now have a total reduction of elimination of 19 panels and reduction of one panel in the back. And you can see that we bubbled everything. There's a second that shows the other changes to the other elevation.
I have to say that I actually like the house better with these reductions.
That's good. Thank you.
Aesthetically. Let me ask you a question about this building. This is the building that has the fitness center underneath, correct?
We eliminated four panels from that southern elevation, the fitness center.
No, I know, but this is the building that we're looking at, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And is this what we're looking at faces the pool? Is this considered the pool house?
Not necessarily a pool house. It's still connected to the main structure. It's like a lounge area for, yes, it's a lounge area for the pool.
And the second floor is?
A bedroom.
How many bedrooms is the house?
I believe we have a total of 17.
17.
17.
17. Okay,
17.
There's a reason why I'm asking, but we can get to that later. All right, let's go. Let's continue on. Esperanza, did you have any other comments on this?
I think also given the prior application, I mean, I think I'd like to just get back to basics and, so we've been reviewing this, architecture, design, scale, and style according to the code. And this is an agricultural overlay district. And I will read from Article 3 about an overlay district, agricultural overlay district. The purpose of the agricultural overlay district is to reasonably control and to the extent possible, prevent the unnecessary loss of those currently open lands within the town containing large and contiguous areas of prime agricultural soils. And I'm reading this because I really do feel, as pertains to this property, that it is, while I don't object to the materials. I don't object to the overall design, except for, of course, as you've already heard us say several times, the excessive use of fenestration, which I find is out of character with the neighborhood, the immediate surrounding, and it's a potential source of excessive light pollution given this building's volume in particular. I also I disapprove of the placement of this building. I walked this property. I've been there several times now. I walked it extensively yesterday again. I took several pictures. I don't think it's considering, there's not a consideration for a sensitive and harmonious relation to its setting and physical environment. And I say this as much for the applicant's sake, as I find that the structure as it's proposed, it looms so squarely and massively upon the site, which is a site that abounds, and I think this is why the applicant purchased this property. It abounds in those characteristic open lands and vistas that are part of this part of Wainscott. And I feel like this whole proposal will obstruct or even obliterate those magnificent, the magnificent vastness and openness that is the feature of this property and its surroundings. And it goes furthermore against the stated purpose of an ag overlay district. So that's, I mean, I continue to object about the mass and scale of this proposal.
Chip, do you have any comments or feelings with the reductions as well as Esperanza's point of view?
Sure. Well, it's a little bit like chipping away at an iceberg. I mean, we can chip away, but a 17-bedroom house in the middle of an agricultural area that's more 19th century than 20th century, I just have a problem with the scale of it also. And I echo what Esperanza has said. There's no other house like this in Wainscott at the moment. And I just can't understand why this is being plopped down in this beautiful field.
I can't believe
Jonathan?
It's difficult for me because I haven't spent a lot of time on these drawings, but the building is wide ranging, but what it is a series of buildings that are connected, and I think in an effort to maintain a scale, the shapes of the buildings are what one might call normal now, gabled roof and vertical sides, with the wood paneling on it. So there's an attempt here. I think it needs a way to, I think it's hard to know what one would do. It needs some way to be able to fit properly within the guidelines of the board here.
Diane?
Well, I think in a way it's a kind of a mockery of a single family home in that neighborhood. I mean, if you look at the houses around it, there are very, very prominent people that live in very simple, appropriately sized homes. I mean, this just seems preposterous to me.
Derek, can you go through some of the color renderings that were submitted this week?
While Derek is scrolling through the renderings, can we respond to some of the comments that have been made?
Yeah, I just wanted to just let that sit for a few minutes and just look at this, because you obviously can see that this board is struggling with this massive proposal. And we hoped that by reducing the amount of fenestrations, and oh, by the way, we did receive Susan's letter and we appreciate it. Let me just make a comment on that. This letter will be in the ARB file for anyone to request a copy. But Susan Harder reviewed the exterior lighting, which she found to be favorable and dark sky compliant. And she also reviewed the type of tinted windows glass that is going to be used, and based on the reduction that you've made so far, she was favorable to that as well.
And she also...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was
You're
going
going to say.
And she also made the conclusion that the application that was before the board at the last meeting was acceptable from an illumination standpoint, both transmission of light through glass and to hardwired exterior lighting fixtures.
Right. The only problem that I had with some of the comments, and that's why I'm not reading it into the record, is that Susan Harder is not part of the ARB board. So her sensitivity to what you're proposing is completely different than the ARB sensitivity to the location and the neighborhood.
We understand that. We appreciate that. But we reached out to Susan Harder specifically at the board's recommendation.
Right.
And notwithstanding her conclusion that the application was acceptable from a lighting standpoint, which was the sole issue that was discussed at the last hearing, notwithstanding that, we went back to our clients and pushed them to make further reduction in glass fenestration.
And we appreciate it, but what I'm saying is, as we continue to review the changes that you're making, which I find to be a good thing, and I think the house presents nicer than when it first was proposed to us, the board is struggling with the size of this property.
The renderings that Derek is scrolling through are actually not the current renderings.
No, I know, but you haven't changed the scale of the building, and that's what I'm asking. You know, why
630 less square feet of glass than what you're scrolling through right now, and
The footprint's the same. The footprint's the same.
And here's the thing, Dan.
I mean,
Dan, I understand that this house is the way it is because that's what the applicant would like. It's maxed out to the size of the home that's allowed on a four acre piece of land. There's no consideration for that situation here. My concern is that the views, even from the person's own home, are obstructed by that 2-story building that's above this fitness center that faces the south part of the land. So they're obstructing their own view with a 2-story building. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know. And so we're struggling with this. I understand your frustration. You know, like you're working for the client, and we're working for the town, and we're struggling with this. And you know, I appreciate all of the reductions, but I would really have a hard time myself approving this as presented today, you know, because of that large building that's obstructing the views from the house, and it's obstructing the views to the south. It just doesn't make sense to me why they would want to put such a large building in that area. And I think to one of Esperanza's point of view, Derek, is there an overview of the property that shows the ocean and the neighboring?
Oh, that would be good.
The
Property.
aerial.
Yeah, the aerials.
The first aerial image.
And you know what will be useful too, Betsy, is if we can see that the map that I sent to Derek earlier today that highlights all of the ag overlay district.
Right. So I think one of the conversations that Esperanza had was that the placement of this on the property is not, you know, where it's tucked in, you know, that it allows for more views. My concern is that what faces south from this property are 2 more lots very close in size to what you have. So we're concerned that if the board was to approve a close to 18,000 square foot house, how then could we not approve a 16,000 square foot house to the south of you and a 16,000 square foot house to the south of them? And then all of a sudden, this has become an agricultural land that has close to 50,000 square foot of residency. I hope you can understand, you know, the position that we're in.
At the last,
This is Brian DeSessa. I understand what the board is saying. Go ahead, Dan.
No, please go ahead, Brian.
I understand that, but the lot is a residential lot. Yes, it's in an ag overlay, and that's why you have jurisdiction. Nobody is contesting that. But then we also have, you know, town laws and zoning ordinances and things that regulate, which are sometimes in contradiction to what we're hearing from this board. So I think, you know, that the applicant has, you know, worked to make this harmonious. This is a large lot, a large residential lot, according to the town. And, you know, the applicant is working to work with you, working on dark skies, light pollution, all the things, landscaping, that were commented on by the board, were shown in the purview of the board, you know, that we're trying to, you know, accomplish here and, you know, make everybody satisfied.
But anyone before this board has to have those considerations. It strikes me as more of a hotel or a lodge than a home.
A country
and what
club.
Renner did to Sagaponic by building that gigantic house on a beautiful field, you are now going to do to Wainscott. And it doesn't fit. It's not contextual. Dan, I know all the houses you built in East Hampton, they're contextual. They fit in on the streets that you put them in on. There is no way, you know, and you know this house is not contextual.
Yeah, I mean, we have to understand, again, and go back to the purpose of an agricultural overlay district. And in this regard, and Wainscott is very unique. I mean, if Derek could just pull up that map, that tax map, so you can see how much of Wainscott is ag overlay district. And so zoning aside, this is, again, I repeat this over and over, this is another layer of review that is our jurisdiction. Wow. But going back, Wainscott is unique and holds over 300 years plus of farming history. Look, you can see there's 104. You are wholly within an agricultural district. And if you look at all of those residential lots around you, not one of them that I can see fills the whole lot the way that this proposal does. And that concerns me because what we are talking about here in an ag overlay district is open spaces and preserving the look of the agricultural land that existed here. This was a humble potato field, not even 43 years ago, and you're turning it into a resort. And the precedent that we would be setting
is a single family residence, not a resort. I would object to that.
The look of it is like a resort.
17 bedrooms.
Yeah, the 17 bedrooms is the key thing here.
I think it's just a question of the volume of this structure that really engulfs the entire property. And to Betsy's point, it's obstructing the view. I mean, I'm sure that this owner fell in love with this property for that view. And I understand that you will have that view looking south, but really as you approach this property, you will completely lose that view. You will completely close it all off. And it's concerning to me because it has nothing to do with anything else around it. If you really truly walk around Wainscott and through any of the surrounding properties and around Beach Lane, it's a real shame.
Esperanza, can I ask you if you think that the proposed residence is out of scale, or if the scale and design is consistent with an ag overlay district?
I think I said it before. I judge the scale and mass is wholly out of proportion and out of character with the existing surrounding structures and properties in the neighborhood, and which are much more modest and leave more open space and views. And then you add to that the use of the glass throughout this sprawling cluster of volumes of these structures, and it's all very concerning. And so I just go back to basics.
I'd like to just put on the record a statement that when we first appeared before the board, there was objection to this proposed residence, solely based on its size. And size is not something that the board has jurisdiction over. So now we're dancing around square footage and size of the home by talking about softening the view of the residence, even though no one can see it, with landscaping, using low E glass to limit the amount of light that's going to exit the building, and third, reducing the amount of glass fenestration. We have gone back to our clients 3 times now, and they have made major changes to the design of this house.
They did not make major changes, major changes. They made changes to the amount of fenestrations on the doors and the windows that are exposing light. That's the only changes they made. There was no reduction in any, footprint of this house. And
just in the scale, which is what is in our purview, in the scale of the house, it continues to be wholly out of proportion with the surrounding properties.
We understand that you're using the word scale.
Well, that's the code, and that is our purview.
You mean mass, though, really?
Mass and scale, both.
The reduction in glass is 70
Right.
linear.
Dan, let me.
It's 630 square feet. You're glossing over that. Think about how much glass that is. It's a tremendous amount of glass that they've reduced. And my client didn't want to take any of these panels out. They bought this land because it's 4 acres. It would allow them to build 17,346 square feet, which is what we've designed. And they want to have views of the reserve. They are eliminating 630 square feet of glass in order to please the board to get this approved.
I don't think your client understood that buying a property that adjoins agricultural overlay, they are going to be limited, and we are talking about those limitations.
They do understand that.
No, I think everybody knew that. We read the code. We feel that we meet the code. This is Brian Testa. And we've put forth that, and we feel like we've satisfied that. So we're going to ask the board to vote and give us a determination on the application as it stands today.
And I would also add to that, that we understood that, and our clients understood that before we even presented to the board the first time. This house was designed as a low-slung house, which has been recognized by the board at I think 2 or 3 of the meetings that we've been at. You've all basically complimented us on the architectural design of the house, the materials that were chosen, and the fact that it was very low-slung and felt connected to the land. So all of that was very thoughtfully
No, I don't recall anybody using that terminology. I believe that we all said that we liked the design and the style of the house and the materials. I don't recall ever saying or hearing anyone saying that it was low slung to the ground. I'm very concerned about that large structure that has a bedroom up above it, plus, the pool house, and then the fitness center in the bottom. That is the southernmost area. So if you would like for me to poll the board to see if we're going to approve this application as presented today, I'm more than happy to do that. I think that was Brian that asked me to do that, made that request.
That is correct. Yes, Brian DeSessa. No, we want to vote on the application.
Okay.
You want an official vote? Okay.
All right. Esperanza.
Should I proceed? Okay. I make a motion to approve this application as submitted.
Can I get a second, Chip?
Esponja, what did you say?
I'm making a motion. I will. I'm rejecting the.
I'll make a motion not to approve this application.
Yes. Well,
I concur. I do not approve the application.
Diane?
No, I don't approve it at all.
Jonathan?
I'm the same.
I agree.
I mean, if I could just appeal, I read the applicant's 3-page letter several times. I understand that he believes that humility is key to success in life. I would appeal to his sense of humility and community, because he asked us to be communicative, and would respectfully request that you reconsider the proposal with taking into consideration what we're saying regarding Wainscott history, the surrounding area, the scale, all of the things, the agricultural district, all of these things that are so important and that are under our purview.
We polled the board at the end of
the owner is on. Dan, hold on. The owner is on. Derek, could you unmute him, please? He can respond.
Excuse me, could you please identify the owner's name?
It should be Ken.
Ken Ostie? Austin? Okay.
Austin.
Thank you.
Austin.
All right. I see that caller right now, Chair. If that's okay, I'll unmute. The last four digits are 0241. One moment, please.
Hi, this is Ken.
Hello?
Hey, Ken, we can
Hello?
hear you. Do you want to respond to the board?
Well, I'm just learning of this a few minutes ago, so if I could just ask the one question: why? I heard the voting, and it sounds like there are a number of people that are saying no to the application, and I'm just curious, what's the issue now? Like, what haven't we done, or what haven't we listened to? And I appreciate that. What I heard was somebody saying that you read my letter that my wife and I put together, and our sense of community is very strong. But what's the issue? What are we being asked to do now that hasn't satisfied all the requirements and what we legally can and can't do?
What I believe the board is saying that this is, and let's just round it up, that this is an 18,000 square foot home, 17 bedrooms home. We feel that for the area, because it is on agricultural land, that the mass and scale of this home, although it's designed lovely and it has beautiful materials, that the scale and the location of the house on that property is concerning.
And what's the most concerning? I'm not being facetious. What's concerning about it? Because we bought the property being told that we could build a larger, that we were within the guidelines. We're below the guidelines of what we were told we could build. So what are you? I just want to understand, what are you asking us to do? Because the last meeting was about.
Here's the thing. There's a property that could be 30 acres. That doesn't mean that they're going to put 100,000 square foot house on. You know what I'm saying? So we just feel that the size of this for that property, that we would like to see it to be less than what it is at this point because of all the reasons that we've outlined.
And can you define for me? And I apologize. What does less mean? Because what does less mean?
Well, I'm not going to redesign the house for you, but I think when you have 5 board members concerned about the scale and the mass of this property and where it is located, it's not like it's tucked in and all the views are still available. It's front and center. You have a large building that's the most southern part of your buildings that blocks your views, and everything is just so oversized to it. And I don't want to set a precedent for all of the other lots that are around you that this is going to be the norm.
Okay, respectfully, we've been incredibly cognizant of the surrounding area, which basically, for the most part, nobody sees the house. And we've spent a lot of time at the property. If you could maybe just let me know, it's very difficult to operate without knowing what you're really looking for. You're saying the home is 18,000 square feet. What would satisfy the board? Because the last couple of meetings, there's been no discussion of size. We've accommodated with removing a lot of the glass. We had your expert, or the expert you recommended, came in and did the study. And the study was, the results, at least what I read, were the last meeting, the objections that the board had for the last meeting, the light expert said we were fine, even though we reduced even more glass. The last 2 meetings, at least what we were told, was there was no discussion about the size. And the vote was supposed to take place today based on light and glass, and now we're going back to 3 meetings ago that now there's a new issue where something has resurfaced that has not been discussed in the last 2 presentations. So my question, which I asked Dan and Ray, is what are you looking for?
Every meeting that we have had with your group, it has come up about the size of this. And what we were hoping is that by reducing some of the fenestrations, that it would stop a lot of the lighting, but every time we talked about it, the comment was, but it's so big, even if you reduce it 50%, it's still going to be that much of light penetrating from the house, and it's such a massive home on this property. So that was the feeling for the board with regards to our purview over the agricultural land. And I'm
Right. So my question.
So commercial.
Excuse me.
So my question, I respectfully disagree with what you're saying, but you're the board, not me. But my question is, you're saying the house is too big. What size do you want us to consider? Because we can't do this in a vacuum where we come back and if I remove 500 square feet, is that fine? If I remove, would you want me to go down to put a home there that is 4,000 square feet? What will satisfy you, even though I respectfully disagree with this?
Mr. Austin, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you must have seen the property when it had the original residence on it.
I purchased it when the residence was not there, but I did see the residence there. Yes, I did.
So you know the scale of that home that was there. Yes, it was about a 5,000 square foot house. It had a detached garage. It was all sort of tucked in and wonderfully bucolic. I'll point out that structure that was there actually would have been a historic structure. I mean, it was an original Wainscott post office from the late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's really quite unfortunate that it was razed. I think what we are trying to tell you is look around Wainscott, look at the surrounding properties and evaluate that scale of those properties as to what, you can do. We're not going to tell you how many rooms or what size, but we're trying to guide you as much as we can in the context of this neighborhood, which is a historic neighborhood.
Yeah, and we're very aware.
Just for the record, there was nothing designating this house as historic in the town.
I understand that that's why it was raised. I'm just pointing that out, which is very, very unfortunate.
There was nothing there. It's a different situation.
I wanted to just point that out because it is very unfortunate that we already lost a small piece of Wainscott history with that house being torn down.
I will clarify too that the property didn't have any historic protections.
No, it didn't. I understand that.
I would just tell you, I'm not a lawyer. We're regular people, good people. We were building, as you saw in my letter, a dream home for our children, their children, our parents, guests, and so on. We bought this lot, this very special lot that, as I said, basically no one sees. And we've shown a huge amount of respect in every way that we can, but we do have a situation that we have a large family, children, many grandchildren on the way. We have parents, and we have a lot of people we're close to that we'd like to share our lives with, and that's why the house is what it is. It's lower than it was before. I'm sure, I don't want to waste any more time, but I would tell you, I'm incredibly, incredibly disappointed that the way I view it is as an architect. My wife is on an architectural review board, and I personally feel, and again, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but we're sort of at the point of no return here, that I think that the board is overstepping what its role is, and I'm sure you disagree with that, but I am, besides myself, that we've done almost everything we were asked to do. We explained why the home is the size it is, and it is not a large monstrosity the way the builder that was going to build a house there was purporting to do a monstrosity. That was not as beautiful and as slanted, and Dan and Ray have done an incredible job respecting the community, and we have as well. So I'm very disappointed that the vote is going this way. I'm not prepared to redesign the entire house based on the fact that you want it to be the size of the former house, because I never would have bought the lot if I would have known that I was going to be faced with that, and my family can't live there. So I guess we are where we are, but I would ask you to reconsider. The home is magnificent. It doesn't feel like a large home because of the way Dan and Ray have designed it. And I would hate for this to go in a direction that it's going to have to go, because I can't go back and redesign a 6,000 square foot home or even a 10,000 square foot home for what we need for our family and their family for the future. And this was the dream for us. And we are respecting all of our neighbors in a very, very big way there. And I'm just incredibly disappointed that this feels almost personal and above the bounds of what the Architectural Review Board is supposed to do. I'm just incredibly disappointed to hear what I'm hearing.
We don't know you, so I don't know why you would say that this is personal. I have no idea who you are.
When I hear something, when I say personal, we're talking about the post office and historic. It's not historic. I would never have bought a property that had a historic home on it, and that has nothing to do with this conversation. What it was, I bought a property that had no home on it. Yes, I saw the home on it, and I was told the home wasn't going to be there when I purchased it. I never would have bought this property if I would be told that I have to put Humpty Dumpty back the way it was again. We spent a lot of money for this property.
I don't think that that's what Esperanza was saying. I think that Esperanza, has lived in the area for most of her life, and she has a connection to the land as well as to a lot of the historical properties. And all along, we were concerned about the size of this house on agricultural land. If it wasn't on ag land, we wouldn't even know that's happening unless we heard that somebody just built the biggest house in East Hampton town. And that's what this is going to be. And I'm concerned about setting a precedent for a large structure, massive structures that aren't, in the traditional sense, like most of the homes in that area. And I'm also concerned about that large looming building on the southern part of your property. That's mostly my concern. It blocks not only your view, but it's not attractive from the south looking up at it. I appreciate all the work that your group has done to reduce the amount of fenestrations. And to be honest with you, I think the house presents much nicer because of it. So it's a process that we go through. I don't think anyone on this board is asking you to build a 5,000 square foot house. I think we're all concerned about the mass and size and scale of it. You're absolutely right. You could take this next step further and, sue and get your, 18,000 square foot house. We're just trying to help it along so that we can feel good about a vote that represents the town of East Hampton. And we've gone through this, not with the houses of this scale before, but other houses that are larger on ag overlay. And at the end of the day, the applicant, the builders, the architects, and the board has come to a solution that works for everyone. And we all walk away thinking we did our jobs. And that's all that this is. Nobody's threatening anybody. If you feel that there's nothing that you can do to scale this down, particularly that southern building, then I guess, we'll have to vote again on it. But I like the opportunity for you to understand.
I appreciate what you're saying. I really do. The southern building, first of all, it is beautiful. It is not large. The scale of it is, I don't know what the square footage is, but that is, as you see, there are bedrooms in there. Everything has to be connected. That's the problem. And if we could disconnect them, it'd be much easier. But everything has to be connected. That is my son for his wife and his children. That is that most people on a 4-acre plus lot would be able to build separate buildings. We can't. So that's why we did it that way. And I think it is beautiful. And I think anyone looking at it from across the pond would say it's beautiful. It doesn't block anything. So we tried. We discussed this. Dan and Ray, they came to our house in 2 minutes away, and we sat and we talked about it. And we said, we're giving up basically one of our children, and their children don't have now their little house together with us. And that's what we were trying to accomplish here. And I hear where you're coming from, but we really have to start over again now, or I have to now sell the property because we actually won't be, this can't be the dream home, and I can't have my children and their children and my mother and my wife's parents come. And I know it sounds bizarre to you for some reason. I understand where you're coming from because I grew up in a 1,300 square foot house, and it all worked. But this was our dream. This lot, what we've put on this lot is magnificent. You forget the scale or the square footage. It's magnificent. It's respectful. It's lower than the old house. It's spread out. It's a beautiful spread out home that Dan and Ray did. It's like to me it makes the community. And I understand where you're coming from, but I'm literally removing a house that my son and his wife and his children will live in, that will be part of this property that I can't separate because of the East Hampton rules. So that's why it feels like it feels. Tell me I can put it somewhere else on the property, and I don't know what we can do here, but if it didn't have to be connected, it could be somewhere else, on the property that no one would see it, and we could figure something out. But we're trying to play within the rules of what the town and the county will allow us to do.
Well,
I can't go back to the drawing board and start over again. We can't start over again. I'm just going to have to sell the property.
You're not
and
allowed
we'll
to
deal
build
with it.
2 houses on any lot in East Hampton. So this has nothing to do with you and your dream house and your son's house. You cannot build 2 houses on a single lot in East Hampton. That's the rule for everybody.
I'm aware of that.
You have access to
I'm aware of that.
Okay, but you're acting like
I'm aware of
you
that.
have access to an enormous amount of advisors, all the people that are working for you who are on this screen. You were badly advised in buying a property that abuts an agricultural overlay. There would be restrictions, and your advisor should have told you there are restrictions, and this is how it's going to play out. And I'm sorry it happened that way, but you are enough to figure this out.
But respectfully, this isn't a restriction. This is a point of view. This isn't a restriction. The house is smaller than what it's a point of view.
We have restrictions on agricultural overlay to fit in a contextual way, and you don't seem to be understanding that.
No, I understand that. I understand that's the leverage point. I understand that's the leverage point here.
David, we took a vote. There was not one person that felt comfortable approving this for whatever their reasons were, and I think we spelled them out individually. The applicant doesn't seem to want to do anything to rethink some of the scale of some of these buildings. What do we do at this point?
I guess I would ask Brian, is there any chance you guys would come back with a modification or no?
We're in a tough spot. At the
the property owner's on the phone. I mean, he can answer that.
I can tell you if someone would specifically tell me what has to be done in order to would tell me what specifically has to be done, my wife and I can do our very best.
We cannot redesign this house for you. I said I suggested to you my concern about this. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I suggested to you my concern about that southern building that is over your, potential pool house or whatever, that it is a bedroom. You have 17 bedrooms. I would like to see that second story go. I think it's a block to you for the views. I think it's a block from up above. You said, no, my family needs to live in that room. So what else do you want me to say? You ask me, I tell you, and you say, no, I can't. My family has to live there. So.
Okay, no, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I don't want to sound, sorry, I appreciate that. Thank you for that guidance. And I appreciate that you're concerned about our views. I'm just wondering how that impacts anyone else. But I would say that, look, it sounds like the vote is no. And I will tell you what my intention is. I'll discuss it more with my wife. We're either going to sell the property because this is not, and I don't think we were ill-advised. We're either going to sell the property or we will work to accommodate. But I'm not going to go round and round. We can't go round and round like this. We've already lost enough hair over this. And we'll either go to court or we'll sell the property. It's going to come down to that because I'm not worried about my view from my house looking at the pool house. And I don't know anybody else who's going to be worried about that view. But again, I think that I really do feel that this has been completely subjective. I'm really in shock that we're having this conversation when it was all about glass and light, and now we're back to this again. We'll just leave it at, I respect all of you. I thank you for your serving the community. And I think that I feel I'm very disappointed that we are where we are right now.
Okay.
And I really do feel that we've been treated unfairly, and I plan on litigating this because I feel very principled in the fact that of the way we've been treated.
Okay. Then what I would like to say is this: I'm going to take another vote. Okay. And I'm going to go on the record that the applicant refused to abide by some of the requests that the ARB made. And I will make a motion to approve the application as presented today. And I would like to go on the record that I am taking a second vote because we feel that we're not getting the response that we had hoped. And therefore, in order to
you've gotten nothing but positive responses.
To stop the litigation because it's not necessary. I just, I will vote for this, but I will know that I voted for this under duress. So I would like to make a motion to approve this as presented. Can I get a second, Diane?
I don't want to second this.
I'm sorry, you don't want to second?
I don't understand that. I mean, I'm surprised that none of the neighboring property owners, I don't know if they're during these COVID times, if they're unaware of the situation. I cannot imagine this massive commercial looking house sitting in that place, being surrounded by the homes and the people that it is surrounded by. I just can't second it.
Jonathan, can I appeal to you to second her motion? Because at the last hearing, when the board was informally polled, you were ready to approve this. And since that time, we've reduced the amount of glass fenestration.
No, Dan, I can ask my board to second. I don't think I need for you to be part of our board and ask someone to second it.
Fair enough.
So Chip, can I get a second?
No.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Esperanza?
No.
Okay. So it's 2 yes, 3 no. So David, I guess we'll see them in court. This is very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
What?
It has to be like this.
Can't this be tabled for another meeting?
They don't want to do anything to table it for. And I don't want to keep going back and forth and going back and forth.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know. This is Ken again. I don't want to have a fight. I really don't. I have tears in my eyes as I'm sitting here. First, the home does not look commercial. It is nothing but respectful. The materials, everything we've done is respectful. What I would ask, if we want to table this, I don't want to have a war, but I want us to be respected for the fact that we have tried so hard. We really have. There was an incredible amount of thought that was put into the community and this home. The incredible amount of thought that was put into this. And we will try. But what I will tell you is that the house doesn't feel massive. And even when we did this, I want to tell you, Dan and Ray came and they told me the square footage, and I said, what? It doesn't feel that way because of the way they've built it, the U and how it is spread, and it's lower to the ground than the old house. And I appeal to you all. I will go back, but I don't want to start over again. The engineering, all the things that have to be done now have to be redone. And I came from nothing, ladies and gentlemen, nothing, to now go back and redo this. We will consider, but I don't want to have a war with you all. I really don't. And I wish I could be there with you, for you to look me in the eye and know how sincere I am about this. But I don't want to fight. They came back and they said the glass, and we removed glass, and we removed glass. You told us to talk to an expert.
You know what,
we brought in the expert.
And you know what, Ken, your house looks better for it. And to Jonathan's point last meeting.
I fully agree. I fully agree with that.
when you're in that house
I
at
fully
night,
agree.
you are going to have nothing but black glass windows. Everything reflects back black with all those windows. Okay, so,
I
in all
fully
honesty,
agree. I fully agree.
it's a better
I
house.
fully agree with you. I fully agree, and we all agree. And I thank you because you saved me a lot of money too, which every dollar.
Why don't we do this, Ken? Why don't we all take a breather, okay? I've got a big meeting ahead of me. Thank God it's not as big as this. Let's all take a breather. I'm not suggesting, that you go back and redesign this house, but if you could take into consideration some of the comments that we've made, which regards to, that southern building and some of the mass and scale that could be tightened up, it would show, I think, a willingness to work with the board, and that we are willing to work with you. When we both, all put our feet in the ground and say no, then we both get nowhere. So let's see what we can do. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry. I'm very emotional over this, and I'm sorry. I hope I'm not. I know I came off the wrong way. I just know I did because it's emotion. But this is a very emotional thing.
Ken, I get it. I get it.
Mr. Austin,
I'm sorry.
if it's any consolation, I've lost many nights of sleep over this myself, because please understand where we are coming from. And I am a resident of Wainscott. My children parade down that main street every Halloween with their costumes from Wainscott School. I'm part of this community. So my concerns are not only from a perspective of the ARB and with as concerns the code, but also as a resident of this hamlet. So please understand, I too have I have gray hairs because of this, and we aren't trying to. We're trying to work with.
We're all very concerned, and we all think, for the most part, that the house is, a well-designed home, as big as it is, and that I'm sure a lot of work and energy and money has gone into this, and we don't do this lightly, believe me. This is something that we're very concerned about, and we would love to be able to rubber stamp everything and anything that comes before us and let everybody be happy. But what's going to happen with that is that this is going to lose the rural character of our town of East Hampton if everybody comes in and maximizes the square footage on every acre that's available. And there's a lot of acres out there that are available. And, once we approve something that's maxed out like this, we cannot not approve another one. And it sets a precedent.
Yeah.
It's going to be the largest home in the town of East Hampton. And I think you need to understand the scope of that and what that represents to us with regards to our agricultural land. So I appreciate you wanting to take a breather, and
I do.
Okay.
I do, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I would say, I don't know the second level, where the bedrooms are above the pool house, how many square feet that is. But if we could do something there, I'm not sure how much smaller. Look, I don't want to be in the newspaper ever for having the biggest house. I don't want my name anywhere.
It's not the biggest house in East Hampton, Ken.
What's that?
In Wainscott.
It's not the biggest house in East Hampton.
In Wainscott.
Well, somebody's got to have the biggest house, right? No, I'm just kidding. So, let's table this. I appreciate everyone so much. I apologize for if I said anything the wrong way. It wasn't meant to be that, except for the part that I do, and we'll come back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll try. And
thank you.
Okay. Have a good night. Thank you.
Is there anything that can be done legally, David or Brian, since a vote was?
No, they can make a motion to table this. The board can make a motion to table, and we can come back in 2 weeks.
Let's do that so that it's clear.
Sure.
It's tabled.
Thanks, Betsy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Michael Frischberg, tax map number 300-197-8-11 for Osborne Farm Lane. I'm looking for John Blafley.
Yes, Chairwoman, he's signing into Zoom right now. John Laffrey? Laffey. Yep, he's signing in right now.
Hi, no, it's Brian Albrecht from John Laffey's office.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. How's John? Is he okay?
John is okay. I'm going to fill in for him this evening.
Okay. And can you say your name again for the record, please?
My name is Brian Albrecht, Albrecht.
Okay, Esperanza.
So,
So this is Chip. Jesse, this is me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
It's Esperanza. So right here.
Yes, 4 Osborne is for me.
You're 8.
You're 8 Osborne.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right.
I'm sure Esperanza would be happy for you to take this for her.
Very happy to take a break. So we have, this is before us again at 4 Osborne Lane, Osborne Farm Lane, rather. We had a resolution from January 14th that resolved that there would be the demolition of a 104 square foot pool shed and the removal of an existing pergola and outdoor shower, and the new addition to the southeast portion of the existing residence. With this, it's a modification because we did not include in that resolution and from that application proposed work for the pool house and there was originally a fireplace with a pizza oven that was to be located on the west side of the pool house. So this is what Brian is here before us, is to present the modification of the pool house as per our comments, with the seating area and the fireplace now relocated to the north side, away from the farm field and adjacent to the pool. And then also all the wall sconces have been removed and replaced with 4-inch recessed lighting within the soffit.
Derek, do you have any photos or renderings that were submitted? We could take.
I think they're just 2 sheets with a sort of a site plan or a survey, and then the elevations.
Yeah, I took out these are the same 2 sheets with the revisions that the board had requested. I took out the other sheets from the main house that was approved in a prior meeting.
Okay, so Brian, can you go, the one that you just had, Derek, go back one, please. Could you just tell the board what changes have been made so we all understand what we're looking at, please?
Yeah, sure. So the board had requested that we remove a seating group that we had placed onto the west area of the pool house with a pizza oven. And that was engaging the farm field. We've since turned that seating group to face the pool and away from the farm field. And we kept the program. We relocated the shower, and in the process, we kind of had to change the shape of the pool house to fit the setbacks. But we have gotten as far away from the farm field as we can at this point.
Right. And the shower is the little thing to the left, right, of the
Yes, yes.
I have to tell you, this is brilliant, I think.
Yes, I think it's great.
From a standpoint of just usability for the pizza oven, I just think it's great. And it eliminates what our concern was, and I think it looks wonderful. Anybody have any questions for Brian on this?
No. So are the dimensions of the pool house and the pergola and everything remain the same? It's just how it's situated?
Not exactly. I really had to redesign the whole thing to fit within that slanted setback in the side yard. So it's no longer a rectangular shape. At the bottom of the page, you can see it's a T shape, and that's because of the setback line. So I'm touching the setback line on the corners of the rear of the pool house along the south accessory side yard setback line. The pergola dimensions have grown slightly. I needed to maintain a circulation path between the edge of the pool and the posts of the pergola now that it's located on the north side. The site plan probably will tell a better story in regards to that.
I'm just wondering because I didn't really have all those details, on, as you normally would have on an application for the modification. So I just wanted to make sure that Derek or the office has that for the records.
Yeah.
Beyond just
Sure.
the plan.
I'll outline for Derek the exact square footages of everything for the letter.
Okay, yeah, that way when it comes time for the resolution, it's all spelled out. That's kind of where I was going with that.
Sure.
Well, let me ask this, the way that the plans are set here, can Derek reference these for for our resolution purposes, or does he need more information?
No, he can do it. If we zoomed into that first floor plan, I give you the depth and the width of that pergola.
You
So
do, okay.
That'll be easy to get that square footage. And it's a T shape on the pool house, so I could give that to him.
Okay, all right. Do you know what the square footage is now that he can write it down in his notes for the resolution? Because it's a
yeah, I'm pretty sure that I am within 1 square foot of what is required. So I think I'm at 199 square feet on the pool house.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Derek, do you need anything else for the modification?
No, we're good.
Good.
Okay.
Let's move this along then.
All right.
Okay.
So unless anyone has any other comments,
Yeah, I think it looks great.
This
Does
is a
anybody have any comments?
No.
Okay.
So I move to accept this application as submitted.
Can I have a second on that, Chip?
Second.
All in favor, Diane?
Yes.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes. All right, great. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Jenny Stone, tax map number 300-159-1-18.17, 30 Fieldview Lane in East Hampton. Diane Benson.
Yes, this is a property, a shy 1 acre flag lot on Fieldview Lane, closer to Cedar Street, that is surrounded by an old, very thick, high hedgerow. And they would like to add some exterior doors to the house. This is a traditional house, a traditional shingle house. And they would like to add some decks, and they have a very, very modest 1-car garage now. And they'd like to expand that into a 2-car garage with a carport that is sizable, but I don't think it's outsized considering everything. This is the house the other side of the house that does not face the ag overlay, and that's where they want to add a patio. Keep going.
Excuse me, go back. Can you go back one more to the first one? When you say, is that where the spa with the bluestone patio goes?
No. This is the other side of the house.
So what goes here? Nothing?
They want to add one, yes, they want to add one patio here. I think it's fine. I mean, there's a hedgerow to the left and neighbors on either side.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. If it's just a patio,
it's a deck.
It's a deck.
Post
And where does it come off of?
Well, maybe Derek should show the survey, which has all the proposal change on it, but makes it very clear.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, is that a door over there?
Isn't there a plan?
Yes, there's some big plans.
Yeah.
But if you see the one we're talking about right now.
Can this be larger?
Anyway, the thing, this is the opposite side of the house from the ag overlay.
Mm-hmm.
The ag overlay side is where they're proposing to add the new garage and the garage shed and a spa and an additional patio. Derek, can we either show the survey or more of the photographs?
Hold on, bear with me for a moment. I'm not running the screen right now. I'm actually training Brittany to do this. So you can just bear with us for one moment.
Well, I'll just say that I don't think anything that's being proposed is problematic.
Derek,
The only thing,
we can't be training during this meeting. We need these things to come up. We've got a whole agenda ahead of us. We can't be waiting.
well, maybe I'll keep talking.
Good idea.
Okay, I spoke with the, I didn't actually speak with the architect. I exchanged messages with her because the one thing that wasn't clear on the aspect that does fade, there was no lighting plan. But she assures me, now what is this? Oh, this is of no meaning for us. This is the first floor plan, I think. The third page is the only thing that is meaningful, Derek. The survey, the third page in my picture. Okay, so now you're looking at the we're facing the ag overlay. At this end of the pool is where they're talking about extending the patio and putting in a spa, or what we used to call a hot tub. And continuing the walkway. There's more pictures. This is the existing one-car garage that they want to expand to a two-car garage with a shed. So they're basically, to the left of that is the house and the pool that we just saw. So they're basically taking advantage of their land.
Did they submit a drawing for the two-car garage with the carport?
Yes, there's an elevation on the third page of the plans. And if you can see, is there, you see the lighting? She's talking about, the architect is talking about continuing these simple down-facing, dark sky compliant sconces to go over the doors of the, to go over the doors to the garage. Okay. And the only thing that faces the ag overlay from the garage are 3 windows.
And you said we do have elevations?
You know what might be helpful, Diane, is if we ask the architect that you spoke with to give us a spec sheet on the lights, just so we have it.
Yeah, well, I called her about that. She called me back. I called her back. It was one of those things. We never connected.
But maybe the survey is the thing to look at for a minute, see where everything is, you know.
Well, it was on the screen once. I don't know what happened to it. It was quite small.
There for a few seconds, so, yeah.
I know. Anyway, on the third page of the plans, of the big plans that I have in front of me, are the elevations of the garage and the garage shed, which are quite simple.
All right, let's blow this up.
Okay, there you are.
Can that be made larger? Oh, right here, huh?
Great.
Okay. That's how I feel. Oh.
What happened, Derek?
I don't know. We have trouble with this one. And
it's Derek.
Excuse me, Betsy. There are a few callers on hold. I don't know if you want me to see if any are the applicant.
It would probably be the architect and Sherry.
I don't have any names.
Okay. So there's the proposed garage, there's the proposed carport.
Right.
Then they have a proposed driveway, the proposed patio with the spa.
Right.
Right, and then proposed,
Fencing.
yeah. And then that deck, and then what's the one that says proposed something, it looks like.
Garbage bin?
Garbage bin, okay, all right.
So really, we're looking at the garage, the carport, the fence.
Yeah.
And what's the areaway? Is that a covered areaway or what is that?
That's for the basement.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right, so do you have any issues with any of this, Diane?
I don't know. I think everything is sort of in scale and it's certainly in keeping in the neighborhood. You know, there's some fabulous modern architecture on Field View.
Right.
So
Derek, let me just say, Derek, can we see page 3 of the plan so we can all get an idea of what we're approving on the garage? Because I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory.
We're looking through the file right now. There's no digital submission of the plans.
Well, they're very.
Hold on. I think we found them.
Michael, did you have anybody online?
I have 3 callers on hold. I don't know who they are until we go through them one at a time. I'm welcome to.
Why don't you do that while we're discussing this?
And Sherry.
And
Okay.
Sherry, yes, that's who we want.
All right.
Okay, so there's the 2-car garage with the carport. All right.
Right.
And what's the materials of the garage?
I think it's everything is the same as the house, which you saw of
A minute ago, the White House, yeah.
the White House.
Vertical sign.
Yes, it's
The garage doors are glass or are they opaque or are they translucent?
It looks like they're glass because they have little lines on them.
Yeah.
No, I would imagine that. No, I must say I don't. Let's see what it says.
Excuse me, Chairwoman, if you'd like me to let the caller in, I have to unmute them and ask them who they are, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, the caller with the last 4 digits, 0407. I'm going to unmute you, please. Hello, caller with the last 4 digits, 0407. Could you state your name?
Is it Ann Sherry?
Hearing nothing, Chair. They're probably holding on for another application. I'll go to the next caller. The last 4 digits are 5058. I'll unmute that now.
Yay, it's me. I'm here, Ann Sherry.
Oh, hi, Ann Sherry.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you. So we're just looking at the garage. You know, we think everything is fine. We just need a little bit more information. So the garage doors, are they glass with panes? Glass panes with?
They are, and the glass is frosted. They're
Okay.
glass panes with frosted glass.
Right, and the windows that face the back, that face the ag overlay, what are they?
Mhm.
Are they like casement windows?
Yes.
Okay, and then what is the material of the garage structure?
The material of the garage is a natural wood, not the same as the house. Which I think will blend in better with the plantings
So,
around it.
is it
And
a hard-
it's gonna.
It's a vertical
I have it
side.
spec'd out as Cameroon wood, so it's just gonna be vertical planks of
Kumaru, yeah.
a mid-color
Kumaru vertical
wood.
It's a natural finished wood.
Okay.
Yes. Left to weather. Yes, casement windows.
Does anybody have any other questions for Ann?
No.
Okay.
Well, and I think that we'd like to see the cut sheets on the lighting.
Yes, I have that. Can I send that to Derek now?
Yes, because we would like to
Give to
include
you
that
guys?
with the resolution.
It just needs to be in the file. We're not looking at it.
And where are you putting that? Just above the garage doors?
Yes, above the garage doors.
And how many will there be?
There'll be one above each garage door, and there'll be one to the right of the man door that goes in on the side. And they're all,
So there'll be a total
as
of
was
3.
said, dark skies compliant. Yeah, total of 3.
All right, great.
They're
So if you
7
get
inches high and less, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if you can get that to Derek, he can add that to the resolution that will have 3 lights, and he'll reference the cut sheet. And the natural vertical siding is Tamu, T-A-M-U?
Kumaru, C.
Kumaru. C-E-M-A-R-U.
C-U-M-A-R-U.
Yeah.
All right, great. All right,
And
thank
it
you.
will be left to weather.
Great. Diane, can you make a motion, please?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to accept this application as presented with the understanding that cut sheets for the dark sky compliant lighting fixtures will be submitted.
Okay, can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Yes.
All in favor, Esperanza?
Aye.
Chip?
Yes.
And Betsy? Aye. Thank you.
What about the pool house?
What pool house?
No, there is no pool house.
Oh, there is no pool house. All right.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Thank you, Ann.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Tax map number 300-196-1-7.15 Wainscott Road in Wainscott. Esperanza.
Yes. This is for a modification. And, oh, I'm sorry, and I should read, I believe there was a letter. Aha. So at our last meeting, February 11th, we had reviewed the application for modification of this applicant's original application from November 8th, 2018. And I have pictures. Derek should have photos of all of those changes. What the letter states is enclosed, please find a revised application to modify the previous resolution for the property. Since meeting with the ARB on February 11th, the property owner has determined that the gate will be 4 feet in height. And by the gate, she means, Shannon McCaffrey means the driveway gate, which was on the original application for the modification, is now reduced to a 4-foot gate, which is not under our purview.
Is this the house?
This is the house.
Okay.
The 4-foot gate, I think, is going to be built to emulate the fencing that you see here. This is the Kohler generator.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go through the changes. The Kohler generator was installed on the northern side of the dwelling. The outdoor shower was shifted to the east. The northern Bilco door was removed from the scope of the project. The southern Bilco door was shifted to the west. And the 4 AC units were shifted to the southern side of the dwelling and enclosed by a 3-foot 4-inch high metal and wood enclosure. And there's a 4-foot wire pool fence, which I don't think I photographed.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter. And it says, and the wire fence was extended along the northern and southern property line. I couldn't see entirely the wire fence. I think I recall there was a 4-foot fence, but what I did see, that picture, Derek, is this over 6-foot fencing that is encircling the property. And here it's way over 6 feet. In other places, it's just like an inch or so, but it's not. I don't know if that was in any part of an original application. It's not part of this one, from what I can see.
Okay, so this was a modification, and the reason why she's back is because we did not put the modification through because we were waiting to find out what she was going to do with the
driveway gate.
The driveway gate.
Yes.
So the driveway gate goes away, and so what we're going to do now is make a motion to make the approvals for the modifications that you just outlined, correct?
Yes. That's fine. And then I don't know if there's any question about that fencing, but I'm unless there are any questions, I feel everything was compliant with what was specified in the application, in the modification rather.
Right, and then when she comes back for C of O, if there's issues with that gate, the fencing, we can do that, but right now we're just doing a modification.
So I make a motion to accept this application as submitted.
Can I get a second, Diane?
Second.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
That's a yes, okay. And that was from last meeting, correct? The 12th, I mean, the 11th of February?
Yeah.
All right, business sign 193 group, tax map number 300-188-1-14231 Panico Road in East Hampton. Diane Benson.
Yes, this is an application to erect a sign at 231 Pantego Road. Now, this is, if you will picture, there are 4 homes that have become professional buildings that are between Carissa and no,
they're not homes. That was built as a commercial building.
Well, they were originally homes, but they've all been converted to professional offices. This is the one closest, the westernmost one closest to Carissa. It's painted green now, and it has a. It already has occupants. It has a law firm and another occupant that have. Can we see the sign? The pictures of the signs, Derek?
Diane, we're talking about the Green Tudor building, right? That was built as a commercial building.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well, the other ones are, I mean, it has a nice, it fits in nicely.
Right.
Okay,
Well, I see
not
what
this
you're
one
saying.
so much. Derek, can we see my pictures?
I see what you're saying, that it looks like a home, and there's other homes.
Yeah, I mean, there are 4 individual residential looking buildings that are all professional offices, and they all have a sign in front of them. Now, at 231, this westernmost building, they are proposing a second sign. Okay, so the green sign that you see is the existing sign, and they are proposing to add a sign at the same size, the same height, the same stature as that one on this corner next to the driveway, which is right next to Carissa. I think that they
snow is closer to us.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's basically one address, and they want to put a second sign in front of this one. Same height.
They want to put a second sign instead of, I don't know, accommodating this new business, the 193 group, a global communications advisory.
Excuse me for a minute, Diane. Michael, is there anybody on the line for this application? And was there anybody representing a Hampton sign?
I believe we do. I have a caller with the last 4 digits 1220. I'll unmute that caller right now.
All right.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, this is Christine from Hampton Signs.
Hi,
Hi there, Christine.
Okay, Diane.
Yes, I feel like it's one too many signs. I think it would look very, very commercial, and it's a very prominent corner, that corner. And I wonder if the businesses that are in this building can't get together and come up with a more directory sort of oriented sign, or group their signs together in one, so that there's not 2 signs on this property, because even though this might have been built as a professional building, it still has a sort of residential feel, and it's still part of these 4 professional buildings that each have a sign, and this one would suddenly have 2 signs, and it's would be in the most prominent spot.
Is the business located in a commercial zone?
Yes, it's on Panago Road.
Yeah, if it's located in a non-residential zone, the town code says that each business establishment is permitted a sign that shall not exceed 20 square feet in aggregate area, except for both sides of a 2-sided freestanding sign may have an aggregate of 32 square feet.
We understand that, but look at what it looks like.
I understand, yeah.
If they're entitled to it as of right, though.
But we're appealing to possibly the landlord to maybe do a directory sign, and maybe they can do signs on the buildings or something, but this is unacceptable. You know, it's blocking the other sign, number one.
Yes. And it's very obvious on this corner. I mean,
it's an 8-foot post. Anyway, so
down. Make it lower. We can lower it if the height is a problem.
I think what you're hearing
Can you hear
from
me?
Diane, and I'm in agreement with her, is that we would like to see all of these signs combined to one sign.
May I speak?
Yep.
It's
Yes.
Denise from Hampton. When you do a directory, it substantially reduces the size of the signs because of the code. So in terms of doing a directory, you have no exposure. There's no visibility because of the law of the code. The square footage just doesn't allow any visibility with a directory. The beverage one on the other side is not a legal sign. So if you're basing it on that it doesn't compare.
which one is not legal?
I don't know what, it doesn't matter. We're not talking about another building.
Okay, right.
This one.
Yeah.
But, you know, but here's to the
I know
point,
there's
you know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know there's the existing black sign further in the back for a different business that's already been there. But, you know, the 193 group has recently moved into this office, and now they don't have any way to mark their location and call attention to their business. You know, it seems their neighbor has a large carved, painted, ornate sign, and they were able to, you know, represent themselves. Just
What do you
wondering
mean?
why maybe their neighbor wouldn't be allowed to do the same.
Nancy, which
This
neighbor?
is Nancy Lynn.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, just checking. On what basis is the board looking to deny it? Is it
No.
too large, or what is the concern?
Nancy Lynn, we're not denying anything. We're talking to
Okay.
the person that represents the applicant about, you know, coming up with a better solution. That's all.
Okay, because they are entitled to a sign to mark their business, as you know, and they are entitled to it within the certain parameters that the code gives the board as far as size wise. Obviously, if you know the design of it and that's the aesthetics of it certainly are up to the board.
Well, I think that in this prominent spot and right on the corner there, I think that if it could be reduced in scale somewhat. I mean, there are two businesses represented on the sign behind it. Maybe it is too busy if they're all three represented on that one sign, but if it somehow could be in, if it could be in harmony with the other sign. I mean, it's a very, it sort of looks,
Derek, go back to the original photo that we were on. I agree with you. If the posts were the same color, you know, and if they were, you know, this big white sign, I think is inappropriate. I'm just not loving this. I would not vote.
No, I think it's very, very obvious. And I think, you know, if there are three tenants in the building, then and two of them, then it should be sort of, each one should have a representation. I mean, it's a very small area. I mean, it looks sort of a little grander than it actually is on this photograph.
If we were to take the post color to white and lower the sign itself closer to the ground, maybe add some modest landscaping around it to make it fit in a little just more modestly. Is that something?
Right. You're getting there, but I'm not loving this big white sign. I just, like, you know, the LPS is white, but it's smaller in scale.
It's much smaller.
This is like a big headlight. You know, I'm wondering if you could do like a green sign with white lettering or something.
It's less than 10 square feet, if that helps at all. It might look large compared to it at that perspective, but it's well within the square footage allowance.
I'm not saying it's.
We know that.
It's
We understand
photoshopped on there also.
What's
Sorry?
the exact size of the sign? I didn't catch that, please.
23 square feet in total. It's 11.7 on each side.
Yeah, it's sizable.
I had high 9, just under 10, so 44.
I'm looking at your application.
Yeah.
So
It's
19.55.
11.7 square feet on each side.
Almost 12 square feet.
No,
There was an error on the application.
must be an error.
I mean,
It comes
that's a
out to
big sign.
19.5.
So it's not.
There's an error on your application?
I'm not
You know what
sure.
I'm gonna do?
The measurement is. Do you
I'm
have the
gonna
other picture including the measurements?
Oh, yeah,
Sure,
that,
we'll
that would
look
be
at
helpful.
that. 32.
Yeah, so 44. I mean, it's almost 4 feet wide. And it's almost 3 feet high. I mean, that's a sizable sign. And it's very, I mean, I assume, I don't know who the 193 group is.
Global Communications Advisory.
Right.
Right. I think they have their offices, they have their email address or their website address. They have a line defining what they are. No one's going to see those little letters ever.
And don't forget, they're in Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, there's too much going on the sign.
You know, it's their sign.
It's their sign. I just feel they can put what they want on their sign. I'm concerned about the coloring being, so white and this big white sort of circular ball.
Yeah, perhaps if it, if the posts were lowered and it was lowered to the ground, and there were some landscaping, and maybe, I don't know how important their logo is to them, but if the colors were reversed and the ground was blue and the letters were white and
or green with white, something.
Yeah.
I
like the other signs on that along that row where there are plenty of other offices, and they're sort of more discreet and aligned with each other. We just recently approved another smaller sign in a building, similar to this, except it was a drop sign beneath the other one. So
I would like to table this and ask you to go back to your applicant and rethink this. I don't think you're hearing anything favorable from the board with this white sign.
Well,
with blue posts. Jonathan?
I was thinking, can the signs be organized a little better in the front yard there, instead of one on the edge and the other is in the middle? It sort of move them.
Well, that's what we.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Betsy. I mean, that was my original thought is, if they could all get together and make not a directory sign, but make their individual signs, but make one sign for the whole building.
More cohesive look.
Well, that's where we were going.
But the problem with that is it becomes one sign, and people won't be able to. The square footage will screw everybody up. Right?
Yeah, well, it couldn't be this big if they were going to share a sign. So I think either this one has to be rethought, and definitely it has to be lower, I think.
Okay.
Well, isn't it the same height as the other one? The other one actually looks really junky to me. This one is clean.
But I mean, picture it in the context of those buildings as well.
Yeah.
And the whole row.
The green kind of match. I feel like it looks nice with the paint color of the building itself. The teal is similar to it. I do believe these are their regular logo branding colors, the teal and the dark blue. Do you think you might accept?
This could be exceptional because it's East Hampton. I don't know. It's just such a glaring sign, and it's in such a prominent spot.
Why don't we do this? I don't want to sit here and belabor this sign forever. Diane, make a motion to approve this and see if it goes to the board.
Make a motion to approve it?
Yeah, and see if who votes
Wait,
for it, who votes against.
Just been waiting 2 hours to talk to you, please.
2 hours.
2 hours. What happens if we cut the bottom of the bottom circle off the bottom of the sign and made it a standard?
The bottom of a straight line, would that help at all?
And then lowered the sign closer to the ground and landscaped around it.
Well, that's why I wanted to table this so you could rethink it.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now. Would you be okay with?
Well, we'd have to see it. I mean, we'd have to see something.
Yeah, I can't approve something based on, what you say it's gonna look like.
What do
We
people think
understand.
about it?
We're just sure we have a good solid idea of what you'd like to see next time,
Right.
that's all.
Okay, great.
So
That's great.
What do
Thank you.
people think about so-called landscaping, putting plants around it? I think
She
I
just
think-
said that, Jonathan.
I don't want it. I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find out what people think because I don't want them to like do
Who's
that.
going to maintain the plants? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens when the lawn guy hits it with the lawn mower?
It becomes junky looking automatically over time.
All right, forget the plants.
Okay.
And if
Okay,
there's
so
any way,
lower?
lower and
We'll go
maybe
lower, we'll-
nearer to the
Jenny,
other side
you wanna-
somehow.
And you want it light posts, is that correct?
I would prefer if the post matched the other sign so that there was some harmony within.
Harmony with the other sign, I agree.
I think 8-foot posts are too high. I like your idea of cutting off the bottom, so it's not this big white circle. I would prefer it not to be a white sign. So I would like for you to do what you do and take the board's recommendations and come back to us with another proposal. We have a meeting on March 11th. Okay? And so
what is
the
the
week before
deadline?
that, the week before that, so that would be March 4th.
At noon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm tabling this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Change to commercial, South Fork Wind, Cove Hollow Road substation. I don't have a tax map number, maybe there isn't one.
Yeah, there's no tax map
Michael,
number.
is Elizabeth on the line?
I think it may be John Case, Betsy.
Yeah, John Case is joining Zoom in a moment.
Great.
John Case is in the Zoom meeting. I've asked him to start the video, but there's no response.
He's been waiting too long.
Yeah.
Maybe he went out to dinner. Okay, this is Esperanza. Why don't we just get moving on it?
Right. So I think this is just coming back. It's changes to commercial, but it's it was before us. I guess it was last meeting or the meeting before, regarding the texture and the color of the noise barrier wall that will surround this substation off of Cove Hollow Road. And I believe that's the only these are the only elements that we will be reviewing today. If all of the board members saw the 12-inch square samples that were delivered to us, one in a stucco finish and one in a limestone finish, both were in a khaki shade hue. And I think we have sort of a consensus as to what we think.
And I think we have, who am I looking at?
Hi, good.
Oh, there.
Good
Is this
afternoon.
Robert?
It's just John Case.
John, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so this color has got a circle around one of the charts. Is that the color that's supposed to be, or is that the color that you want it to be?
So there was actually two colors, and the reason we sent two was because there is, as you can see, sometimes a difference in the way that it shows up on the palette as opposed to the way that it shows up on concrete.
Yeah.
So this shows the palette on the left is number 26586. That's a different shade of khaki. That one's circled in red. That's actually reflective of that particular tile. And then the tile on the right is a slightly different color, 26405. So they are two slightly different colors, provided them trying to match as closely what you were looking for in the previous selection.
Okay, and then there was something where
The Albany building.
Yes.
Yes, the medical building. Derek, I asked you if Elizabeth could tell us what color that was.
Or I think John would probably be able to know.
So I had asked Derek to reach out to Elizabeth to advise us, so we would have that information for the meeting.
I did not get that request. I'm not sure if Elizabeth is on
Is Derek
here.
still with us?
But you know, they had a picture of
Yeah, John sent that picture to us.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I didn't get the request on the specific color, but as I was looking through some of the samples, was thinking that might be something more in line for what you were looking for.
Yes,
it
I
seemed
thought
like a
so
darker.
too.
Yeah. So I can absolutely get the color of that confirmed for you, but if that's what you're looking for, we can make sure that the wall will match that color.
Right, and you know, again, we were looking at a photograph on a computer screen, so it's hard to really tell if there's
it's not
any
gonna
way,
work.
without getting a 50-pound block of cement, can we see like a small tile of the color?
Apparently not.
4 by 4?
I don't know if they can create them that small, but I can see if we can figure out a way to get you a better picture of it.
Excuse me for a minute, John. Brittany, is Derek still with us, or is he left?
He looks like he's
Who's operating the smartphone?
I'm here now, Betsy. What's up?
Okay. Remember when I sent you the email to ask Elizabeth what the color was of that Albany Medical Building? Do you remember? Did you get that?
Yes, I sent the email.
And you didn't get a response?
I haven't received anything.
Okay. All right. So no, we haven't heard. Okay. All right. So then the other question is, John, real quick before, because I think I'll let it to Esperanza, but I think we know which one we all want. But is there any way that you guys want those samples back? I can't lift that container.
Yeah, we can have somebody come by for sure. We can have somebody come by and pick those samples up from you.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So Esperanza, let's talk about the texture, what we all agreed on.
I think we all agreed on the smoother stucco.
Right.
It'll be a little cleaner, and then in a darker hue, I think it will present well.
Right. And that texture, I looked behind the brick, or whatever it was, the block, and it was 210-SL-88, but in the brochure, the stucco is 150. So I just want to make sure that we get exactly the one that we want.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, so let's table this till we can get confirmation on the color and we know what the texture is at this point. Okay. Is that all right? Am I holding you up with anything if we move this to the next meeting with the color?
No, I'll do my best to see what we can do to get that for you. We'll certainly get a color name and perhaps a palette of what that looks like. But
and if you can't get anything smaller, we only need one of the okay, and because we all have to come in the office to pick up our files for the meeting, so we all can view it. It's not like we took any of those home. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to table this. All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Driftwood Apartments, tax map number 300-110-1-13217 Montauk Highway in Amagansett. And Michael, I'm looking to see if Jean is on the line.
I have 2 callers. I will unmute the first caller I see. The last 4 digits are 8500. Hello, caller with the last 4 digits 8500. You're on the line. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, Jean. Hold on.
Could
one
you state your
second,
name,
okay?
please?
Jean Galante
Thank you.
from LPS.
Yeah, she's with Land Planning Service. Okay, this was before us at the last meeting. There were 2 units that were going to have renovations. This is a modification for unit 5354. And in that resolution, we approved a few different things. And one of them was doors and windows in that unit 5354 was going to have low-end windows and doors, but those are not available. So they're swapping them out from a different manufacturer for Marvin windows. And that's the only change on this modification. So I'd like to make a motion to approve to go from low-end windows and doors to Marvin windows on this unit 5354. Can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Yes.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
Esperanza?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Diane? Yes. And then there was going to be another modification to the other unit 73, but Jean was not able to get it in. But it's really more of a housekeeping thing. So I told Jean that we would discuss this at today's meeting. So what Jean explained to me is this unit is going through a mold remediation process. And after it's done, they don't have the materials to do the renovation. So what they want to do is swap out the old moldy windows that are there now with a in-kind new window in order to make sure that the mold does not then re-penetrate into the room. And once all the materials are in, they're going to then do all new doors and windows with all the things that we approved. So this is like a temporary fix on a swap out of some windows. And I spoke with David about it. And what we're going to do is just make a memorandum approving the change to the replace in kind temporary memorandum for the replace in kind windows. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Nope.
And
No.
Jean, I explained it correctly?
Yes, that is correct. Well, with one exception, we're waiting for the NRSP approval to come through and the product to come in. So as soon as that happens, they will take out the temporary windows and put in what you've approved.
Right, exactly. Okay, so do I need to make a motion on this temporary modification, David?
It's not a fine, it's just part of the process. It's not a
Well,
final.
you know what it is? The building department told her she had to go in front of ARB to get approval to put a temporary window in there. It's when
Yes, then if the building department told her that she needed to come before the ARB, you should make a motion to approve the temporary windows.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the temporary windows like in kind on unit 73. Can I get a second on that, Esperanza?
Second.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
And Diane?
Yes.
Great, thank you, Jean.
Okay, thank you very much.
Fences, walls, berms, and gates.
Wait, Betsy, the clarification or something about?
We have the clarification.
Thank you, okay. This is a add-on to the agenda under the classification of a clarification, and it is for One Association Road, and it is a stipulation and order of settlement for authorization for a 5-foot gate for My Wife Really Likes It LLC. I would like to make a motion to approve this stipulation. Can I get a second on that, Diane?
Yes, second.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
Esperanza?
No.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Do I sign this, David?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will return that to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Esperanza, for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Fences, walls, berms, and gates. Andrew, Peter, Sumner, and Gabriel McNair Summer, I believe this has been postponed. Is
That's
that
been
correct?
postponed, yeah.
Yes, okay. Jan and Claudia Geldmacher, tax map number 300-145-1-44-1, 150 Bull Path in East Hampton. Is anybody on, Diane or Jordan?
I think Diane Leverrier will be on.
Okay, and that's Jonathan has this application?
Chair, I could unmute that now if you'd like. I'll unmute
Thank
that. The
you.
last 4 digits are 7346.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Can you identify yourself for the record, please?
Sure. Diane Leverrier with Jordan and Leverrier PC, appearing on behalf of the owners, Jan and Claudia Geldmacher, 150 Bull Path.
Great. Jonathan, you want to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, it's existing fence and posts, and they want them updated for a C of O. What we're looking at is a white, fence that is just about 6 feet, and it's actually taller than 6 feet a little bit, and the deer fence behind it is 8 foot, and there's a lot of deer fence that runs around the whole property, not necessarily on the border. We can go to another slide. That just is an access to the backyard.
So there's 8-foot deer fencing along the back, and this that looks like PVC fencing is 6 feet. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's about 6 feet, and they have gates in them, so it's easy to get in. The whole area of the back of the house, which is where the pool is fenced in with the 8-foot fence. This is example of the 8-foot fence. You can see that this fence that we're looking at, I think is the neighbors, but it may be theirs. Theirs comes up to that, and then they continue double down the whole rest of the way. So there's double fencing, and that is part of the problem, because some of the fencing from this property goes onto the neighbor's property. It has to be adjusted back. And I asked.
We'll take a look at the survey in a minute, but isn't there some gates involved in this?
There's two posts at the front of the driveway that are referenced in the application.
Oh, okay, driveway posts.
It says 2 8-foot.
Yeah, those are posts. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, but I asked David about separating the fences for the deer to run through, and he said he didn't think that the town had any law about that. So since people have talked about that before, I was wondering what that was about. But here,
what I said was that for the purposes of the ARB, that we considered the size of the fence and the side of the property, and that it needed to be brought back to make sure that it's all on his property. And that there was nothing in the specific guidelines of ARB that spoke about separating different layers of deer fencing specifically. So,
well, you have to be really careful when you do that, because if it's not separated enough, animals can get caught in it. And I'm also concerned when they double up like that also too, that if any animal tries to scale it, they can get caught in between the fencing. But let's look at
at any rate, there is a long run from the, you can see that the property line is straight, and there's another line above that, which is labeled a fence, and it pops up over on the neighbor's property for a long distance.
On the side?
On the side, right, where the house, where the driveway curves, you just look to the top, there it is, yeah.
Right. But it's their fence.
It's their fence, yeah. You can see it's their fence and it goes in. So that all has to move back.
Well, let me ask you this. So we're looking for approval for all of this fencing that encloses the back area on 3 sides, 8 feet?
Yeah. They know that they have to move this back, and they said they're going to do that because the guy stuck his head out the window. But there's all this other fences there too. Yeah.
Well, so it's 8 feet all around.
All the way around.
side and
8
the
feet.
rear.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and then what is the front wire fencing? That's 8 feet also?
The front?
There is
Front's,
no fencing in the front yard.
Okay, how am I
But
looking?
it goes, you see it about, it comes from the house, goes straight down. That was the first picture that we saw, was the wooden fence that's painted white.
Yeah.
That stops, and then the back side, the side, the back, and the upper side are all 8 foot, and then it goes 8 foot back toward the house till you get to, 15 feet away where this is where it ends. See, this has got 5 panels of this white fencing.
And that fencing is wood, not PVC?
It might be PVC, but it's not wire. Yeah. So.
And where is the double fencing, along the back or along the side?
Right here, along the side, the upper part of the drawing that we were looking at a minute ago.
Excuse me, Chair. This is Mike from LTV. We have a Jake Castrati on the hold. I believe he pertains to this.
Okay, shoot.
All right. I'm just going to unmute that caller right now.
Hey, guys.
So
How are you?
Excuse me for 1 second. Is this on the side, the double fencing on the side where, the same side of the property where the fencing goes off the property? Or?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right. All right. So who's on the call? I'm sorry.
Jake Castrati. I'm the landscaper for the property.
Okay. So either Jake or Diane, can you tell us what you're looking to do here?
That's you, Diane.
Jake, why don't you go ahead?
I gave it to you, Diane.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, Jake, I'm not really familiar with what they're talking about in terms of the double fencing, and I was just wondering if you could speak to that.
So the double fencing, the reason why there's a fence on the neighbor's property and on theirs is because we have to have a deer run in between there. So that's why there's a gap between the 2 fences. Whether it's on the property line or not, I did notice that, some sections of it were not on the property 150 Bull Path. So that part of the fencing we can move over, which is about a 30-foot stretch, to bring it onto their property line, which also, it expands the deer run, which is okay. It's not going to do any damage.
Okay.
Okay. And what about some posts on the front of the house?
The posts are like 70 feet off the street at the beginning of the driveway, and they are a little over a foot square, and they are less than 6 feet tall.
And what's the purpose of them? Do you have a photograph?
There's a photograph in this. No, there isn't a photograph. Sorry.
I'd also point out that on the
and there isn't a purpose either.
The application indicates that they're 8 feet tall, so that should be corrected to reflect the accurate height.
They're 67 inches tall.
Yeah, I know. So the application.
Why would they say they're 8 feet on the application if they're not?
They're not.
Jake, can you speak to that?
I could definitely say they're not 8 feet tall. And as far as any function of them, nothing at all. They just stand there, no gates, nothing. It's just 2 poles sticking out of the ground.
Just marking the driveway?
It marks the driveway in a place, it seems reasonable.
Can we cut those down to 4 feet?
I don't know what's in the middle of those, but I'm sure we can.
I think we should.
There's nothing
And
in
then you don't need ARB approval on the posts if they're at 4 feet. And then this way they're bigger for snow or whatever, demarcation that you're looking for the driveway.
Right.
And you're going to move the fencing onto your property.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Is there, Jonathan, if they do those two things, are you in a position to make a motion to approve this?
Yeah, but they're not going to do it tomorrow. When are they going to do it? So making it a motion.
They come for a C of O.
Yeah, the process is you make approval based on them moving.
Oh, I see. All right, fine.
Right, and we approve that, then they get a resolution, and then they have 3 years, I think it is, to do the work before they can, get a C of O.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay.
If they do the work right away, they can apply for a C of O. As soon as the work is done, then you'll go back out, inspect that it was done, and then we
Okay.
approve it for a C of O.
I got it. Okay. Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you make a motion to approve.
I move we approve the application with the stipulations that the two posts at the front of the driveway are cut down to 4 feet, and the the northern side fencing is all on the applicant's property and not the neighbor's property.
Right.
Yes, it's the 30 feet of fencing at the northern side of the property. Approximately.
Thank you for that, David. 30 feet on the north side?
Yes, approximately 30 feet.
All right, and that we're approving and you're approving the rest of the 8-foot fencing on the back and the 2 sides of the property, correct? Okay, can I get a second on that?
Yeah, sure.
Diane?
Second.
All in favor? Chip?
Yes.
Esperanza?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes. Okay, Jake and Diane, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
For hanging in there. Patricia Scott, tax map number 300-39-16-8-997 Springs Fireplace Road in East Hampton. Chip.
This is an application for approval to build 2 sets of automated driveway gates at either end of a semicircular driveway. This is pretty far up Springs Fireplace Road. The gates would be set back 27 feet from the road, and they would be 16 feet wide and 6 feet tall. They would be made of cedar slats, 3 inches tall, with 1 inch spacing between the slats. They would attach to 6 by 6 inch cedar posts with no caps. The posts would be 6 feet tall. There's no lighting involved. All would be stained a dark charcoal ebony color. The 3.5 foot tall wire and board fence runs parallel. So this is where they want to put the gates. What's facing us, they would be set inside where these posts for these wire fences come into the property. The posts come into the property, then they run the whole length of the fence runs the whole length of Spring Fireplace Road. Next photo, Derek.
Wait, let me ask you a question. So this type of fencing is on Springs Fireplace, and what is
Yeah, we're going to see it in a second, yes.
Is it like 4 feet?
Yes. That's where we just looked at from the road looking in. One more, Derek. And there's the fencing running along Springs Fireplace Road. And there's a berm with some arborvitae on top of it. So this fence connects these 2 sets of gates at either end of the property. And this is 156 feet long. As the gates will be set back from the road and somewhat screened by existing vegetation, I don't have an issue with 2 sets of gates on this property, that we generally don't favor that. The width of the property is substantial enough. I do have an issue with why she needs 6 foot high gates attached to a 40 inch high fence or 42 inch high fence, and feel the gates could be 4 feet or 5 feet in total height. While the applicant states the gates will be 30% transparent with 3 inch slats and 1 inch spacing, they could be more transparent. There's one other note. All the fencing on this property is not on the property. On the front left and on the back right, her fencing wanders into the neighbor's property, and that needs to be corrected.
Well, that's not up to us because it's 4 feet. You know, she's gonna have to deal with that with her neighbor. That has nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? If it's 4 feet of fencing, it's not under our purview to tell her what to do with it.
I'm not sure all of it's 4 feet. If it's anything over 4 feet, it has to be brought onto her property. Yeah.
Right. And did we see a design of this 6-foot gate that she's looking for?
Derek, she submitted some photos.
And is it a swing gate? What type of gate is it?
Yeah, it's a pair of gates that are automated. I mean, you guys see this?
Yeah, it's up now.
Okay.
Excuse me, Chair. I think we have a caller pertaining to this.
Okay.
I'll
Is it
unmute that
Patricia
caller.
Scott?
We can check. The last 4 digits are 0407.
Well, my feeling is, first of all, she's got some white PVC 6-foot fencing in the front of the house that's illegal.
Excuse me, caller. Could you identify
We
yourself?
can look at the driveway picture gate.
I think it's along the front facade. Let's look. Is this Patricia Scott?
It's in front of the front.
Excuse me, Chair, if I may. Caller, could you please identify yourself? I'm sorry, they hung up. It must not have been. Continue.
Derek, if you can go back to Chip's pictures, please.
Further back. That behind the house.
Keep going. It was a view from the street into
Yeah, it's the car.
Not this one. There was another one.
That one.
You see that
Ah.
white fencing?
Yeah, that's higher than 6 feet, yes.
Right. So that's.
But is it not behind the facade of the house?
No, the second part of it is, well, the house is on an angle. Technically, it could be behind. Let me look at the survey.
From this angle, because I see where that gutter comes down and the house it projects further forward. And I don't think it looks nice, but that's, you know.
Is that the back of their house and their driveway goes into the back?
The house is on an angle, Betsy. It's a modern house that sort of rambles a little bit, but that could actually be behind the front facade of the house.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the other house. You're right.
This driveway go out?
Definitely.
Does this driveway go out onto Springs Fireplace Road?
It's a semicircular driveway, yes. That she wants gates at either end of the semicircle.
Well, there's not a lot of room between the end of these frames of this 4-foot fencing and where she, you know, wants this gate and then where that 6-foot fence is.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there is.
There is?
Yeah.
Well,
This is 27 feet back from the road, what we're looking at
I
right
would
now.
recommend that she put up 4-foot gates and call it a day.
Yeah, it just will look nicer.
Yeah, I think 4-foot gates are fine.
The gates aren't going to keep anything out because the fence is it's actually 40 inches. It's not even 42 inches. It's not even
Michael,
4
do
feet.
we have anybody else on the line for this application? Patricia Scott?
That number that just hung up, just called back in. We can check and see. They never responded if it is this person. One moment. I'll unmute that now.
You know, because up in this way, this is a very rural section. I don't want to be putting 6-foot gates up, 2 6-foot gates up there.
Excuse me, Chair. Caller with the last 4 digits 0407. Could you please identify yourself?
That open.
That's Patricia Scott. Yes, that number.
Okay, if everyone could just remain quiet for one moment, please. Excuse me, caller. Are you present?
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
could you identify yourself, please?
Patricia Scott.
Welcome. Chair, go ahead.
All right.
So Patricia, we just reviewed your application. I was on site yesterday, and our feeling is that with a 4-foot fence along the road, we think that 4-foot gates would be more appropriate. 6-foot gates seem very inappropriate to us.
Yes, I did hear what you had to say. So it's not quite 4 feet. It's 3.5 feet of netted fencing along the road. But the two 6-foot gates, they're inland from that. There's an additional 15 feet. The fencing turns in towards the house. And I just did want to correct a couple of things. That survey is, I think it's 3 years old now. Current, but it's 3 years old. My neighbor had the fence off on his, more towards his property. That has been corrected on my survey. So the fencing on both sides of the property is in an accurate position. As we
But it's on both sides, Patricia. It's on the left and the right. I see it goes over the property line.
Yeah, on that particular survey it does, but it was corrected. I have a new neighbor.
Then we need to see a new survey. We need a current
No,
survey.
we don't, Chip. It's a 4-foot fence. We don't need to see a new survey.
No, I'm not here for the fence. I'm not here for the fencing. I'm here for the two front gates. So my rationale for the two front gates, I understand I don't even need to be in front of the board for 4 feet gates. But the reason is the town owns a substantial amount of property directly beside me and across the street. I also am concerned about the deer for numerous reasons, but I don't want them in my property all the time either. We have a large deer population down there. They do have a lot of space to roam. The gates won't be intrusive from Springs Fireplace Road because they're set so far back off roadside. But it's twofold reasons why I want them 6 foot. That's why I'm applying to the ARB. Otherwise, I would have just put up 4 feet gates.
But you only have a 4-foot fence, so the gates aren't going to make any difference because they can jump over the fence.
They can jump over that berm, no problem.
Yeah, but they don't. I mean, they walk around. They come on the circular driveway.
The other thing is you realize that then they stay in the street, and that's even more dangerous.
What?
That when you're impeding their going, their flow, they're going to stay in the street, and then that makes it even more dangerous.
No, there's vacant land right across.
How far back is these gates from the roadway?
27 feet.
27 feet.
27 feet.
That's not that far back. We're reluctant for 6-foot gates. They loom. They're very unfriendly looking, and we're seeing them go up all around, and it's just ruining the rural character of this town. So it seems to me that your design is not all that much open either. 30% is not that much open. Is it possible to open it up a little bit more and maybe do 5 feet gates? The deer are going to jump a 6-foot gate anyway. They jump 6-foot stockade fences all day long if they have a good running.
I understand that. The deer will, and they'll eat anything. I understand all those questions, but it is a deterrent the higher you have it. 4 feet, they're going to jump. 2 feet, they're going to jump. 6 feet, they're going to jump. 8 feet, they can jump. I mean, there's no limits, but the higher it is, and I understand you can't approve higher than 6 feet. I wouldn't want gates higher than 6 feet, but at least at 6 feet, it's a deterrent for the deer to come into my property. There's plenty of run around space for them. The town's bought up large areas of preserved right along Accabonac there. And my gate design is pretty opaque. I'm actually copying a neighbor's gate that just went up a year ago. And it's a great looking gate. It's also set off the roadside. And it's the same design and same height, same post. I'm not having any lighting, no caps. It's a very simple, elegant, straightforward gate. But the 4 feet.
Well, let me ask you this, Patricia. I can't get a handle on the drawing of what this gate is going to look like. Is it possible for you to take a picture of your neighbor's gate that you like and submit that to us so we could really see what you're talking about?
Yeah, I actually did. I submitted it all to Derek. I submitted the picture of the other gate and everything.
Hopefully, I never saw those pictures.
Did you get a picture in your file?
No, there's no photos in this file at all.
Maybe
there's her drawing, and that's it.
Okay, well, there were photos. I can definitely forward those over, but it's more the fact I knew I'd be explaining why a 6-foot gate, but that is why I wanted it. It's there's not that many in the neighborhood, but they are there.
Yeah, no, and I have to tell you, Patricia, you've done your homework. I'm very impressed. I don't have to explain anything to you. It's great. It's great. But is it possible for you to email Derek that picture now? Is that possible? If Derek doesn't have it to his .gov, is that possible, Derek?
Patricia, is the gate 2 doors up from you on the same side of the road?
No, it's on the opposite side. It's actually it's on Accabonac Harbor, and it's not 2 doors along.
Okay.
Out.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've never seen that gate.
Excuse me,
David. I'll definitely get a picture of the file, but if you need more opaqueness, I can do that. What I'm really going for is the height. The 4 feet, they're going to just really, it's going to say, come on in, And also, the other thing is, we do get a lot of summer rentals down in the historic district of Springs, and people can just put their hand over it. They can put their leg over a 4-foot gate, No,
I hear you. I hear you. David,
and that's the other thing. It's not just for the deer. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Patricia, excuse me for 1 minute. David, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you ask Derek what is going on with this? And he's not responding to my request. I've asked him twice if we could send a photo to him, and this is what's going on. Patricia,
excuse me, Betsy. Can I speak to that?
Yes. Was there
I'm actually not working the meeting right now. This is the video that she was talking about. This is what I'm playing for you.
No, that's not what we're looking for. She sent in a photograph of a gate rather, that she likes. And I thought that you were going to be working this meeting. So Patricia, let me ask you this.
I'm helping Brittany with the meeting.
I don't want to get into this. Patricia, would you mind terribly if we postpone this till next meeting, and if you could submit the photographs of the style of the gate that you're proposing? Because this is going nowhere. I can't prove something that I can't see, and I'm looking at somebody like tripping here.
Okay, so I can really redesign the gate in style. I'm going for the height. So do you think if I design
it depends on the board. It depends on what it looks like, and it depends on the board. I can't say.
I think a 6-foot gate is going to be a stretch in this situation.
Yeah, maybe we do 5.5 or something like that. But I really think that we need to see a better rendering of what the gate is going to look like. And if you would be so kind to allow us to move this to the next meeting, because we're not going to get anywhere just back and forth. And I've lost, my support staff for the meeting. So I want to move this forward. Okay.
And the next meeting is when?
Is March 11th. So if you can have things in before the 4th, like next Wednesday, and just make sure that you have a couple copies of the photographs so that Chip can get one, I can get one, the town can get one. Okay.
Yeah, I did do that, 3 copies of each, but I'll do it again and resubmit and get it to you before.
Yeah, and I apologize that we lost them, but we've just been having some staffing issues lately, so it's been a struggle for everyone. Okay.
All right, no problem. I'll resubmit and they'll be there by Wednesday. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you so much, Patricia. We'll see you next meeting. Issuance of certificate of occupancy, Michael Silverton, tax map number 300-172-4-8.5, 25 Sarah Path in East Hampton. Possibly Bruce is on the line, Michael. If not, I'm going to just continue on with Diane Benson.
Chair, at this moment, I have one caller. I can unmute and see if that pertains to this. One moment. The last 4 digits of that phone call are 5555. Hello, caller, with the last 4 digits 5555. Are you there?
Yes, I am. This is Mark Schneider from Montauk Manor. I'm also waiting to be let in on Zoom when you get to my matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's taken so long, but these are going to go pretty quickly, Michael, so hold on there, okay?
Chair, I do have a new caller that just came in. I'll see if it pertains to this. The last 4 digits are 2716.
Yes, this is Bruce for Michael Silverton.
Hi, Bruce.
Okay. Okay, did we read the text map?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay, we're revisiting this from last week. The secondary resolution that was 2 months later has turned up. And in fact, the green gate was approved. The moving the gate 25 feet from the road has happened. The resolution calls for a 5'8" gate. This gate is 6 feet, but I think we could say it's a contractor's allowance. The other issue was the pedestrian gate. No, not that one.
Just look.
Okay, this is the gate. This is the pedestrian gate, and there were posts that were higher than 6 feet. They have been cut down. So unless anyone has any questions about this property, I'm ready to make a motion.
Please do. It's 2 years in the making, right, Bruce?
Yes, please.
Well, thank you for finally, taking care of it. Go ahead, Diane.
Okay, so I make a motion that our staff advise the building department that this property is ready for a certificate of occupancy.
Can I get a second on that, Esperanza?
Second.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
And Betsy, yes. Thank you, Bruce. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Edward and Jacqueline Marcus, tax map number 300-197-8-98 Osborne Farm Lane in Waynescott.
What?
That's you, Chip.
Application is for the approval of a 5,879 square foot house with front and rear covered porches, second floor terrace, swimming pool with a hot tub, and a 4-foot high fence along the perimeter of the property. This property was recently before us for a set of driveway gates, which is not a separate application. There are 2 issues I have in moving this application forward. The applicant has built a very large 40-inch tall enclosure measuring 14.3 by 12.3, about 175 square feet, to enclose pool equipment and a generator. This enclosure is solid cedar planking and sits openly in the backyard adjacent to the agricultural reserve. At 40 inches tall, it is 10 inches taller than any of the equipment that it encloses. It needs to be cut down in height and screened with shrubbery, which I understand they're thinking of doing. As built, it's pretty offensive to the openness of the agricultural overlay. That's the thing, that's the enclosure, and that's the house, and the overlay agricultural part is behind us. Second issue is there was no exterior lighting on the original house plans and renderings, which we approved in June 2019. In this photo, you can see 3 light fixtures on the first floor, and there's 2 on the upper deck. As built, there are now 11 light fixtures. 10 of them are these types of sconces, and 1 is a hanging fixture over the front door. None are dark sky compliant, and all need to be replaced with dark sky compliant fixtures, which the board needs to approve in advance. I spoke to folks at Farrell, and they are aware of these issues. Is anyone from Farrell on the phone?
Chip, can I just ask one question about the enclosure?
Yep.
I appreciate that it can be dropped 10 inches. which I think is great. Can it be tightened up? Is it, is there more space within it that they can, tighten up the?
It would be, if I looked at that, there's a cement pad under some of it. And then it would be a foot here, a foot there. I don't think it would, the stuff is pretty spread out. There's a picture of looking into it. Could we see the photo of looking into this enclosure? Yeah.
You'll see like on this side over here in the lower right.
We could probably you could probably take 2 feet off the back of the generator.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right. And then it wouldn't affect the little gate going in there, right? Isn't that a little gate over there behind the generator?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I misunderstood. What's the height of this enclosure?
40 inches.
40? That's only
40. Yes.
Yeah. So we can't say anything about 48.
Right.
48.
It's not, it's not over 4 feet. So why are we?
Well, it's adjoining an agricultural overlay. I thought we had the ability to say anything about anything facing an agricultural overlay.
It's not really fencing, it's
a building.
It's a wall.
It's an enclosure, and if they're willing to drop it down 30 inches,
10 inches.
10 inches.
Well, to 30 and, drop it down to 30 inches. I think that's acceptable.
The person I spoke to at Farrell, Gerald Hillerly, this afternoon, said that there's a landscaping plan which is not yet executed, and they plan on screening this entire thing, which would also help.
Yeah, okay. Because David, are you there?
Yes.
Since this was not part of our original approval, when we approved the house, that they built this structure around the equipment, that is under our purview, correct? It's not like it's fencing, it's a structure, it's an enclosure.
Well,
if that's how the board considers it, I'd say an enclosure is probably under our jurisdiction, but I would really need to look into it and get back to you. I haven't been confronted with that issue before, but either way, because of the issues with the lighting, it looks like, we can't, we might as well try to get them to lower this as well.
Right, absolutely. And if they're willing to do it, it's for the betterment of everybody.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Michael, that I keep interrupting you. Did you say that there was somebody on the line?
No, Chair. The only person's the one waiting regarding Montauk Manor.
Okay.
It looks like at least one of those things is a lot taller than you think it is. Like this.
Well, the tallest thing is the electrical box. That's the tallest thing.
Oh, really? And what about this black thing up front?
That's actually a little bit shorter.
The only thing that I would say is that because that's a pool heater, and then it looks like the pool filter that's next to it, right? That's a stay right heater. That there might be issues with the spacing. You just want to make sure that we don't enclose the fence or put it, near something where it could catch fire, because there is.
Well, I think that we should leave it up to them what they want to do, but I would encourage that they drop it down 10 inches if they can.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, Chip, we're going to request new specs on the dark sky compliant lights.
Yep.
All right. And you spoke with them about it, so they're aware of it?
They're aware of it. I mean, what Gerald told me was that Farrell does not spec outdoor lighting on any of its houses, and they let the owner tell them where they want to put it, and then they just put it.
Yeah, and she probably wasn't aware that she needed to have ARB approval on it.
Right, but they were very nice about both of these topics.
So we'll table it, but was there anything else on the house, any discrepancies to the build?
No, the house is as built per the plans we approved in 2019.
All right, so let's just table this for the lights then, okay? And 415 duplex, which is tax map number 300-11-5-25. This is 415 West Lake Drive in Montauk. This is in the resort district up on the top of West Lake Drive, where it comes into Flamingo, which is from town. over in the dockside area. That's why these buildings are in front of us. Anyway, there were four cottages that at one point they connected the two cottages together with like a carport. And then the other two cottages, they came before the board after they finished that. This is it here. And they connected to make like one-story house. So what was approved was a gray roof with gray cedar, well, I don't know if they were cedar, but gray painted shingles to match the other house. The other house has a blue roof with the gray shingles. So this is what they have. It looks like a vinyl horizontal plank siding. I have no problem with the fact that this wasn't built to match that one, right? Which has, it looks like the same kind of siding. But what I think we need to do is, in addition to, there are some discrepancies between the original plans where they added a window and a door on the east elevation that wasn't on the original plan. So what I would like to do is ask them to give us a set of as-built drawings and that we approve the siding as built, even though it doesn't match the resolution. Is that okay, David?
Yes, Betsy, that's fine.
Okay. So should I proceed to say that it's ready for certificate of occupancy with the contingency that I get a new set of as-built plans?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I'm doing. So I want to instruct staff to tell the building department this is ready for certificate of occupancy with the consideration that we get a set of as-built plans to match the building that we're approving. Can I get a second on that, Diane?
Yes, second.
All in favor, Chip,
Yes.
Esperanza,
Yes.
and Jonathan?
Yes.
And then Thomas Cooper, tax map number 300-159-1-1478 Long Lane in East Hampton, Jonathan.
Hi. So this is, I'm sorry.
So excuse me for 1 second. I want to just read into the record, if I can, for that last approval, that unit was B, as in Betsy. Because there's two units, there's A unit and B unit. So I was approving unit B. Sorry, Jonathan.
No problem. This is a house that was approved in October 2019 to be built. It's now built, and they need a C of O. They want to be sure that confirm that this fits the resolution. So there are pictures. This is a survey.
Is this the house right next to the high school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is, anyway, so, see, I was reading this before. I didn't see what,
yeah.
It's had different materials. So this is the house. It's got this fence around it. It's all around the house. There's a little building off to the left. It says it's a one-story house here. And it's really 2 stories. I don't know whether that was an error or not. It says oil bleach shingles. It's actually oil bleach flat, some kind of wood that's.
Are you reading off of the resolution?
I'm reading off of the resolution that was approved 2 years ago. So these are not radical changes. Well,
going from 1 story to 2 stories.
that part is radical, yeah, right. But the oil shingles and the standing seam roof are not. So it's really a 2-story house, not a 1-story house. I don't know whether this resolution was in error or they expanded it.
Yeah, and you didn't reach out to Thomas Cooper, did you?
Are you sure it's a 2-story house?
Well,
high ceilings. Everybody likes those big spaces.
It could be. It's all double height space. Yeah.
I remember it being double height space because this was my site application. I just
Well,
don't.
then, in that case, it's a single-story house.
Why don't we table it to find out more
I'm
from the
sorry,
applicant?
what did you just say, Jonathan? It's not a single-story house.
If it's all open space, right?
David, let's table this. Can I ask Jonathan to reach out to Tom Cooper?
Yeah, all right, I'll do that.
Yes.
Since he's not on the line, and find out what was originally approved versus what the resolution says. Maybe it was a mistake on the resolution. Maybe there was a change in the building.
Yeah, fortunately, I don't have that in my notes.
I wasn't around for it, so I can't check mine. So why don't we do this? Why don't we table it? And Jonathan, since we're short on staff, can you just reach out to Tom Cooper and maybe have him walk through what happened, and we can put him back on for the next meeting once we get this straightened out?
I can do that, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is tabled. Montauk Manor condominium, and that's tax map number 300-27-2-1-1 and 236 Edgemere. And I think he said it was Mark, or was it Michael? I didn't hear his name.
Mark with a C.
Hi, Mark with a C. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can, and I can see you. Okay, this is, wait, hold on. Got a little backtracked here.
No problem.
This was before us back in 2017, and there were two things going on. They wanted to expand the small restaurant to outdoor seating from X amount of seats in total to, is that on the, yes, from 35 seats to 83 in the Montauk Manor, which is a 140-unit resort community facility. Also, they proposed is the removal of some playing courts on an existing grass parking area. In accordance with previous site plan approved, additional grass parking spaces are proposed for the restaurant expansion. Existing storage trailers are to be screened and relocated. So over near the back of where this, grass parking area was, they had some large storage units, and they wanted to move them over to the back side of the parking lot that faces, what's that little road that goes in the back? Do you know? I don't have, let me see if it's not important. But in any event, I went up there the other day and I took a look. And one of the main things that we worked towards when we were approving this new storage unit was that it was going to have a cedar stockade fencing enclosing it, left unfinished at a maximum height of 8 feet, which would mostly shield the storage units, with the good side of the fencing facing the parking lot. And we were also going to ask them to make sure that the large maple that they had planned to cut down in order to put these storage units over here by the side, that they didn't. So they basically enclosed the tree, but they didn't cut it down, which was great because it was a nice big old maple tree. So I think there's some pictures. Did I not send? Maybe I didn't. Anyway, everything looks to be in order, Mark. I have no questions. Is there anything that you want to add to this?
Not at all. I was hoping you were going to say everything's in order, because obviously they complied with the resolution that the ARB had put in place, right, and we're here hoping that we're going to finally close this chapter.
Yeah, that's great. And thanks for saving the tree. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this, as well as instruct the staff to let the building department know that this is ready for certificate of occupancy. Can I get a second on that, Diane?
Yes.
All in favor, Chip?
Yes.
Esperanza?
Aye.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for hanging.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Stay safe.
Okay, Robert Nicoletti, tax map number 300-55-6-14, 12 Ranger Path in East Hampton, Chip.
So the application is for the approval of the individual removing or relocating a 4-foot tall fence that ran across the front of the property and that was in the right of way that the town owns. I visited the site. The fence has been completely removed. The deer fencing at the back of the house is all proper and in compliance and all under 8 feet. So I have no issue with this application at all.
Okay.
So I would move that we approve the application and instruct staff to inform the building department that the property is ready for a C of O. And you can see there the fencing has been removed.
It went too fast. I didn't see it. It's okay. So can I get a second on that, Chip? No, sorry, Esperanza.
Second.
All in favor, Diane?
Aye.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
And
Aye.
Betsy, aye. Leonard Nathanson, tax map number 300-55-9-10, 9 North Hollow Drive in East Hampton.
Mike, I believe he's going to be on the phone.
Yes, actually, I see that caller now. I'll unmute the caller right now.
Yes, Leonard Nathanson here.
Good, Leonard. So the application is for the approval of a pair of metal driveway gates 6 feet tall, which we approved in September 2019, and also for the approval of deer fencing in the front yard at a maximum height of 6 feet. There's the deer fencing, there's the gates. The posts, the only issue I have is that the posts on the caps supporting the gates are slightly over 6 feet. They're 1 6'4", 1 6'2", and I'm going to ask Leonard to remove these metal caps so these posts are exactly 6 feet tall. Leonard, you want to talk about it for a second?
Yes. No, that's fine. I mean, the only reason the caps were there for aesthetic purposes, it kind of finishes the look of the gate. So if they have to be removed, I can remove them.
Yeah.
Terrific. So if you will remove them, we'll come back and take a look. Is that how you want to do it, Betsy, and then approve it next meeting?
Well, how hard are they to remove?
They're pretty easy.
Did they just pop
My
off?
builder said that he could remove, well, they can be removed. I'm not sure what the finish is going to look like once they are, but my builder did say they can be removed.
Okay, well, we could approve this with the understanding that they will be removed and the paperwork will go through, and if when, you know.
Okay, that's fine.
Right?
Yeah,
right,
I can have them removed. I can have them removed very quickly.
Okay, all right. So we'll just put it through as a stipulation.
Okay.
I think it would look much more finished, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So pending the approval of the caps on the tops of the 2 piers, I make a motion that the application is ready to be submitted to the building department for a C of O.
Can I get a second, Esperanza?
Yes, you said pending the removal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Second.
All in favor, Diane?
Yes.
And Jonathan?
Aye.
Yes, and Betsy. All right, thanks, Leonard.
All right. Thank you all very much for your consideration. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Leonard. Bye-bye.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting. Can I get us all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Good job, everybody.
We're off the air.
Anybody want to stay on?
Yeah, once the